Welcome to CounterCultureWise, a Stormcat production, with your hosts Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on CounterCultureWise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. And with the meows of the Maxi Meow, we begin another CounterCultureWise podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our studios here in the deep woods. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope, and here with me in studio, besides all the critters, well, I guess he could count as a critter too,
I've been having...
is my husband, my co-host, happens to be my best friend, and my sweet baboo, Mr. James Monis.
I've got lots of critters biting me. I don't know what's going on here.
They're loving you.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think you got fleas in your pants or something.
Oh, no. Okay, obligatory dad joke of the week.
All right, here we go.
What do fish smoke to get high?
What do fish smoke to get high? Worms?
Seaweed, man.
Yeah. Wah, 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 wah.
We have...
It doesn't get any better, folks. It does
Oh boy,
not get any better.
don't say that at the beginning of the show. Say it at the end of the show. It doesn't get any better than this. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Well, as we are recording this, we got the news a few hours ago that Iranian President Raisi was in a helicopter crash. As of now,
Are they actually calling it a crash because it was a hard landing?
Yeah, well, you don't do hard, like you said earlier. You don't do hard landings in a helicopter.
No.
They figured out where it is by computer, but they have to explore the terrain because it's really rocky and mountainous and everything. So
fog in Iran? I missed this somewhere.
Well, I don't go looking for fog in Iran.
Well, I mean, obviously there must be because
There must
they're telling us that's what happened.
There must be. Yeah.
So what a coinky dunk. Do you think it was like the plane crash that happened in Russia?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It probably crashed, but it may have crashed. I don't.
Wait,
Quotey finger crashed.
They can't see you making the quotey fingers. Quotey finger crashed. Not going to put cameras on you, Jim, because then you'd have to put clothes on.
Oh! It's warm in here. That's all.
It is warm. We have to turn off the AC or else you wouldn't be able to hear us.
So, yeah. Well, we had a fun experience after church today. We went to a antique store, if you really want to call it that. It's called
that was fun.
Art Here. It's in the
Not
residential.
Not a sponsor, but we would love to have this fine gentleman on with us.
Yeah, his name is Harold, and I raved about him on Facebook.
Oh, did you?
And about the store.
Just the
lots of fun knickknacks and things.
Man. So much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that every reviewer says, man, Harold's amazing.
Yeah, well, he is. Yeah. He's just a darling man. Just absolutely the sweetest thing. He lost his partner years ago, and yet still just has the most wonderful attitude, collects all these little eclectic things, and we'll definitely go back.
Wifey got a couple pairs of earrings.
Yeah, so. I just realized that I got these because I really liked the kind of bluish color, and it went with what I was wearing. But the top of them is a Celtic knot. And I just
Very nice.
realized that as I took them out just now.
Very nice.
Yeah, very reasonable prices. And then, of course, the story. So
Yeah.
he used to be a drag queen, and
A very convincing
very
one,
convincing
I might
yeah.
add.
Not like the conventional ones. No, he worked it. And,
yeah.
Just, it was so cute, though, because when I first met him, I'm like, oh, yeah. And he's just really cute. And then I went to use the bathroom, and in the bathroom is a signed, an autographed picture of Richard Simmons. And I was like, surprise, surprise, surprise. But he's got that demeanor, just sweet and fun.
Yeah,
and
he's a great guy.
cute and stories to tell. So we confided. We're both former Las Vegas performers.
Yeah,
and,
former.
Oh my goodness! Did he just open up, and we had stories to tell, and he showed us pictures, and yeah, we had a blast. He's just a precious man. I could see him being on our show and having a lot of fun.
Definitely.
So we will definitely invite him if he can break away. But he owns the house that the front part of that property is the store, and then apparently across the river there's an extra piece of property there where he parks and whatnot that used to have a bridge over it. So I don't know if they built a new one or not. But the stories he told us. He gave us a map with all different places to visit, and
lots of recommendations on other similar stores to visit.
And I mean, we could spend. It's like the Louvre. You could spend
We
hours in there.
love antique stores.
Yeah, they're just so much fun.
Especially at like antique malls, like the ones they had in Vegas. They
Yeah.
just had all these different departments.
Yeah,
and
all
these
different areas,
sellers.
and you just never know. They
Yeah.
say one man's trash, and it's like, no, it really is though. You just never know what you're going to actually find.
Right.
And lots of little doodads and doohickeys. So I found some random stuff, and he's like, oh, you can just have that. I'm like, okay, well, if you're kind of not going to. So I was determined to purchase something.
Yeah.
So I sat there until I found it. And I just realized, I've had pierced ears my whole life. I think I got my ears pierced when I was 6.
Right.
And I keep forgetting that. And I never wear earrings. So I'm going to start wearing earrings more often.
That'd be great. I love earrings.
My new pledge to myself. Yeah, and you've actually gotten me a couple of really nice pairs of earrings, and I need to start wearing them. So
I got them from JCPenney. You didn't even know JCPenney still existed.
They don't anymore.
Well, they do. Yeah. Another couple bits of news. Sean Diddy Combs has just proven he's more of a jerk than even before.
Yeah, well, these women who got a bunch of dough and then allowed him to go and abuse more women.
Yeah.
While, yes, technically they're still victims, when you take money and don't report it and you allow the next woman to be abused like that, you're kind of
Yeah, we talked
him.
about this in great detail with the Weinstein and the Me Too thing.
Yeah,
and,
I'm struggling with accepting that you're a victim when you get a payout and allow other women to be abused. So I'm not going to speak too much about it because I think people know where I land on that one.
Yeah.
But
Also,
what a douchebag. What an absolute
he's a
douche.
schmo. He's a schmo. And CNN political commentator Alice Stewart, who was only 58, died.
Well, 58's a good run. I mean,
Not really.
it's not like
That's
she was
young.
48 or 38, but
Well, still.
yeah, just all of a sudden dropping dead in front of your house. That's pretty tragic.
Yeah.
And that's all we know.
Yep.
I mean, we know more about the helicopter hard landing than we know about what happened with her. So, and of course, everybody has to be jerks on the internet. So
The internet
we're getting
is
all the
home
typical
of
stuff,
jerk.
and left and right, they're both just jerks anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, she was vaccinated. No, we don't know if that's related. Let the family grieve. This was unexpected. And this there are people who love her that are grieving. So could you just put your conspiracy theories aside for 2.5 seconds? Even if I agree with you, probably was related. Don't know. Can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
She could have had a heart issue that she's had her whole life, and I mean that's what happened to my grandma. She was born with this heart issue. Okay, well my grandma was 60, and we're just now finding that out. Well, yeah, she dropped dead. Okay, cool. Thanks. You don't know. You don't know. It could have been food poisoning.
Yeah, it could have been
I mean, it could
any
have been
number of things.
of things. So before we start doing the whole, and I hate to say this because I'm on your side. We are both pure bloods. We didn't get the jab, and we're really, really, really glad we didn't. We did get COVID.
Well, I have enough health issues.
Right,
I didn't,
and
that
we
gave
both
me
made
pause about doing it. So
Yeah,
I did consider it. I won't lie. I did
right,
consider
because we
it.
were both high risk, and those are the people they were preying on the hardest. And thankfully, you weren't working a job where they were going to force it, and I got
Right.
the heck out of Dodge before they did it to me. And we weathered COVID, twice just fine.
Yeah.
Vitamin D.
I wouldn't say
vitamin
just
C.
fine.
No, we were sick, but I mean, I've had the flu and was every bit as sick, and you do all the same things, and we did okay, and both of us were super high risk with comorbidities, so we're the perfect candidates to end up in the hospital. We didn't. We did all the things that they wouldn't let us talk about. I mean, granted, we didn't take ivermectin because we got it early enough that wasn't a thing. And we didn't take the hydrochloroquine because we got it early enough that wasn't a thing yet.
Right.
But I'm
right.
telling you, if we would have known about it, we probably would.
Right.
But no, we did all the other things. We went outside. We took vitamin C.
And if I went somewhere like barbershop or dentist or doctor where somebody was going to be very close to me, I had absolutely no problem or issue with wearing a mask.
No.
That's just common courtesy.
But don't make me, if I'm not sick, don't make me wear a mask at the grocery store because
Right.
you're afraid. And then we were talking about this earlier. Nobody's quite made the connection to how much hand sanitizer was sold. Antibacterial hand sanitizer during a pandemic that was caused by a virus. And nobody has made this connection.
You did.
These guys raked in the dough and still
well, for a while,
are.
it's just that there's. I mean,
unless you were spraying your hands down with Lysol. But the other thing is that it didn't survive on surfaces. Study after study after study showed that it didn't survive on surfaces. So everybody was wiping everything down using antimicrobial, antibacterial, anti this and that. And it's like, dude, it's a virus. Those are different things. And my God, how much money did these people make?
Well, they did for a
mind.
long time. It's that they also, but on the other hand, they produced so much of it that you could find it for these big jugs at the 99-cent
dollar store now, yeah.
So I mean, there's
but the thing
that
is
too.
in the middle of it, if you were to look somebody in the eye and say, "You know it's a virus, right?" They would think you're crazy. They would think you're nuts. They would call you names. They would chase you out of the Trader Joe's screeching with their hair on fire. They acted like you're
which
the
actually
one,
happened, or
which
virtually
literally
did.
happened. Yeah, they acted like you're the one that has the problem when you're literally just saying, bacteria, viruses, and not the same thing. But whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Anyway, we just got completely booted from YouTube for that line of logic, but wait until what we're about to talk about because it's about to get even uglier.
Well, before it gets uglier, I did want to share an update to a story we talked about just last week. We spoke about
I'll bring that up on the screen because this is cool.
a gentleman who...
Why you not go? Oh, you not go.
He was... what's his name? His name was...
what's his name?
Ed Dwight. Retired Air Force captain selected by President John F. Kennedy in 1961 to be the nation's first black astronaut candidate. He didn't make the Corps.
Oh, I totally forgot he was black. I just thought he was old.
Yeah, and
So this is like a double dip. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
so he at the age of 90, he finally made it into space on the Blue Origin flight, and it was just...
Did they purposely make their rockets to look like
most of them look...
stormtroopers?
Most of them, well...
I mean, I know they're failing because they have to be pointy in order to go through the air. Get over it. I mean, they have to be pointing in order to go where they're supposed to go, no matter what. That's just the thing.
It's
Get
quite
over it.
a
But
combination
this one looks specifically like a stormtrooper. Am I kooky?
No, it has a stormtrooper look to it. It really does. And so congratulations, he made it back. He went on with several other people. And these are the people who went. It was, in addition to Ed Dwight.
He's so young looking.
I know, he looked very young looking,
He's 90 people. This guy is 90.
And in
Look how young
great
he
shape.
looks.
The woman applauding him just looks so delighted. That is just so cool.
Is she related or just...
I have no
one of the
idea.
crew?
Probably somebody worked on the
No,
crew.
he did it though. Look at him. A lifelong dream.
And then you go to the following photo. Well, there's two down, and you see the diverse group of people. But let's see. This included venture capitalist Mason Angel, Sylvain Choron, founder of the French craft brewery Brasseur Mont Blanc,
Okay.
software engineer and entrepreneur Kenneth Hess, retired accountant Carol Schaller, aviator Gopal Thotakura.
So these people were all on the ship?
Yeah, they were all on the ship together. So
I love it because usually...
and it didn't. I mean, it wasn't
all...
very long. It went up at 9:36 a.m. Central Time,
Space
and
is space. I'm glad we're finally getting back up there.
and then touched down 10 minutes later. But it's like it goes up just on the verge of space. I mean, that's just so amazing. And they're weightless for a few moments, which is really cool.
Don't we have planes that do that?
I don't know, honey. So congratulations to Mr. Dwight. And yeah, he is a very spry 90.
Yeah.
I'd like to feel that spry at 60, but
I'd rather have him be president, but...
Well, you know, we got who we got.
You get what you get, fat.
Oh, boy. Okay, now we can get dark and nasty and evil.
All
okay,
right.
cool. All
Dark
right.
and nasty and evil.
All
Well... Well,
We don't make this stuff up, people.
I kind of feel sorry for the guy. I really do. He's so messed up. But well, I mean, no, he's actually not though.
No.
He's not messed up because he knows where the dough is. He knows where the
You can
dough
sniff
is,
out the dough, that's
and
for sure.
and he knows how to get it. So, oh, whoops. Right video was, as Crowder would say. Oh my, here you go. That is where'd he go? Yeah, let's get the right one here. Doink, there we go. This is harder than it looks.
Hi, is this an okay time? Okay, surprise! I'm in Peru, and I'm at Machu Picchu. Isn't this just so beautiful? I'm here by myself, and I used to do a ton of solo traveling. I'm telling you, it's the best. If you could ever do a solo trip somewhere, it is such a good way to get to know yourself better. But I came here to feel something, you know what I mean? And I definitely have. I've done shaman ceremonies that were like 10 years worth of therapy. It was wild. I've seen a lot of llamas, and the people here are so kind. I feel very safe here. It's a little sad that I had to leave my country to feel safe, but that will get better eventually. And I am dying for some Trader Joe's rolled chili lime chips. But other than that, I am so content. Still haven't been kissed yet, but I'm holding out hope. And most of all, you know, this trip has me feeling like I'm my own best friend again. And that is the best feeling in the world. And I hope that you feel that way about yourself too. And I love ya. Okay. Bye. Machu Picchu. Wow. Gorgeous. Love ya.
You know, I kind of feel sorry for the guy because he is kind of cute and he seems sincerely sweet, but he's such a grifter. And
For those of us listening or not watching the video, it's Dylan Mulvaney we're talking about.
okay, yeah, I guess I didn't make that obvious enough from the thumbnail.
Sorry, children.
Like I said, I kind of feel sorry for the guy because, I mean, he saw an opportunity, he went for it. He's done this before. This isn't the first time he's filled that niche. And he put a lot of work into it. I mean, his makeup is spot on. He had some facial surgeries and whatnot. Hasn't had the other stuff because he still talks about tucking and all that. But, I mean, there's only so much commitment, that you can have. And, he does put on a good show. He really does.
He's charming.
I'm going to hand that to him. He is charming. He's charming. And, he's got that going for him. Plus, he's an actor and, he wants to be a Disney princess or whatever. I don't care. But I find it really funny that in the, literally the most accepting place on the planet, there is no other place except maybe Canada, but only because you'll go to jail if you're not. There's no other place on the planet that is as accepting
of LGBTQ,
the rainbow people, the mentally ill, as we are here. And yet he goes to Peru, which kind of didn't work out so well for him. I don't know if this had anything to do with him being there, but while he's there... Peru officially classifies trans people as mentally ill. Well, they've always been classified as that. And here's the thing. People are going to call us istophobes and all the nonsense and crazy nastiness and, names that they want to call us and whatever. I've heard it all. I always consider the source, and usually they're really hateful, divisive, nasty people. And it's like, I don't care what you say about me. I don't wish any harm. I don't wish any ill on these people. I wish them to get help. Okay? So let's see what the Peruvian government has to say about this. They officially categorize trans and intersex people as mentally ill. The health minister... Okay, intersex, though, if you're born with both parts, it's kind of like not a choice, but that is so freaking rare.
It's very rare.
That's almost as rare as a blue-eyed ginger. Hello. The health ministry said the decree was the only way Peru's public health services could guarantee full coverage of medical attention for mental health. I'm behind that. The move has prompted a fierce backlash, of course, for the rainbow mafia. They're this, that, and the other, and istophobe and yardy yardy. I'm not going to read any of that crap. In one recent move, lawmakers banned references to gender equality from schools and from school textbooks. Obviously, this is a very biased source that I pulled up. Cesar Vázquez, the health minister, has failed to comment on the issue. Instead, he's been defending President Dina Boluarte. Is that her? Okay. Mm-hmm. Who is under investigation for an unexplained acquisition of expensive jewelry. Wow, they spelled it really weird. Jewelry? That's like burgle gurgle curry. Jewelry.
You're thinking too hard.
It's like Worcester sauce.
Just say jewelry.
Jewelry. Bling bling. Including a diamond encrusted Cartier bracelet valued at £40,000. Okay, so they had to put that in there to discredit her. Okay. Her brother was arrested. So it sounds like we have like the Bidens only in Peru. But you're going to throw them under the bus because they're not saying the things you want them to say, whereas Biden just completely gets away with it. Okay. Lack of awareness of rainbow mafia. Can't ignore the context, blah, blah, blah. So it seems to me that they declared that. Got another article here. Oh, no, wait. That's a completely different one. They declared that because they wanted to get them help. Am I weird? Am I reading this wrong? Mm-mm. So if you literally want to give help to the mentally ill, they're not saying be mean to them. They're not saying don't employ them. They're not saying, chase them down or ostracizing. They're saying
Not at all.
These people need help and we want the government to be able to provide that. But that's not good enough for them. They want to be celebrated and told that they're, well, honey, you're not a doggy. You're not Napoleon, and you're not a woman. You are a man. Okay? I'm not going to play your little game. I'm sorry that your brain is messed up. I don't wish you any harm. I want you to get the help that you need. And if that makes you suicidal, well, then you need help more than I can possibly say. I'm just leaving it there. There's not much more to say there. So, I know there's a lot of people on the Yay Peru, they're based, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, there's, Boo Peru, they're terrible, blah, blah. I just thought it was really, I use the word funny, but I don't think ha, 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 and laughing belly laughs, but odd funny. Not funny ha, ha, but funny weird. That it happens as soon as Dylan shows up there and is, doing his little TikTok thing. And he's like, oh, hey, I'm in Peru and whatever. And they're like, and you're mentally ill. Have a nice day. So I'd be curious as to what he has to say about that. I don't have TikTok. I'm really not into selling all my information to China, but I'd be willing to go on there just to find out what he has to say about that, if he does. What say you, Monis?
Well, I say that we go into news of the weird and wonderful, but before I do...
Before I
do, drop everything.
Oh, I don't have that up, but...
That's okay.
I'll get there eventually.
Drop everything, crash, bang, boom.
Crash, bang, boom.
And come to our website.
Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Especially tell your enemies, because we get some really interesting replies on our ID10T form. By the way, if you hate our ever-loving guts, whatever you're doing right now, if you're listening live, you're listening later, go ahead and give us, all the stars, all the thumbs up, all the things. If you're listening on iTunes, okay, now you can do up to 5 stars. So this is what I'm saying. I want 200 billion stars. I want more stars than you can possibly give. But if you hate our guts, give us just a single digit, like 5.
5. 5 is good.
5, I mean, that's actually insulting enough. That's like a 2-penny tip. If you give us like 1 star, it's like just not even trying. And 2 is like meh. 3 is like, everybody does that. 4, that's okay. But 5 is like so insulting. If you really want to just stick the pins into us and be like, you guys stink. You guys suck. You guys should die. Go off yourself. Give us that 5-star review, because that one really hurts. Because everybody else is giving us like 200 billion.
I know. What good is that?
Yeah. So if you really want to stick it to us, give us that 5 stars, and we'll be like, oh, that hurt. That's like a 2-penny tip right there. So hit us with those 5 stars. Everywhere else, give the thumbs up, the like, share, all the good things, and especially if you hate us, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we are all over the dang place. So you can hate us, you can literally hate us everywhere. We're even on True Social. I'm even on that blue doohickey. I don't ever post there though, because I haven't figured it out yet. The monkey or the ox or I forget what it is. The elephant or whatever it is. All the liberals left Twitter to go on to mammoth or whatever. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's how often I'm on there.
I have a personal account on Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, that's the one.
That is the one?
That is the one.
It's a butterfly, not an elephant.
Elephant, mammoth, butterfly, whatever, the thing.
Wow.
Blue. Isn't there another one like mammoth or something? I forget what it is.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, so anyways, we're on Instagram.
Mastodon, I think it is.
Mastodon, that's the one. We're on Instagram, we're on Gab, we're on Minds, Facebook,
We're all over the place. We're more places than you can shake a stick at.
Yep. And we get our news from the Blind Spotter by Ground News, so we will be showing you several different perspectives, because that's just kind of what we do. Alrighty, so let's head on into my favorite segment.
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
I made myself look so much shorter than you, and I'm really not.
You're not.
I just want to look like a petite woman, and I'm really not. But my eyes are every bit that big and blue.
Yeah, they are. They're big and blue.
And your head is every bit that big and bald.
Yes. Indeed.
I'm kind of proud of that drawing. It really does look like you.
I think it does.
I didn't do the glasses, though. Should I do the glasses?
No, we don't need to.
Okay.
I only wear the glasses when I need to read.
That's true, and I only wear my glasses when I need to drive, so...
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind having them. I mean, my Facebook avatar has me wearing glasses, so...
Yeah, see, I only see you wear glasses when you're reading, so I don't think of you as wearing glasses.
Right.
Yeah. But you and your caramely eyes.
Oh, caramely eyes.
Okay, guys. Ladies. Be with me here, ladies. So he had a job interview, and he leaves wearing a white shirt and a tie and dress pants, the whole bit. And he comes back with the shirt untucked, the top button undone, his sleeves rolled up, barefoot. Oh, God.
Every woman I've ever known loves that look.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I did it
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Melanie's benefit.
Yeah, tie all loose, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's like when he shows up and I'm wearing nothing but his shirt and a fedora. I do that just for him. Alrighty. So, now that everybody knows our terrible secrets, let's head on in to news of the weird and wonderful.
Frout.
Right. Okay, well, this first one is weird.
Yes,
Apparently,
definitely
New
weird.
York has an actual superhero.
Alrighty.
Like their own, like, that's like for realsies. And he calls himself the Brooklyn Devil. So they say real heroes don't wear capes in Gotham. They ride electric skateboards. Okie dokie. The Brooklyn Devil is the last of a dying breed, once part of a 15-person collective of anonymous, self-appointed crime disruptors. He's now New York City's last remaining real-life superhero. How did I not know that these people actually existed?
Don't know.
While he founded the New York Initiative in 2009 as a team, he's largely patrolled the city's neighborhoods and subways alone since 2015, 4 years after the group experienced an influx of new members following its appearance in the 2011 documentary film Superhero. So I'm going to have to go watch that documentary. I'm sure I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Got it right the second time.
Yeah, okay. Documentary. Okay.
It's raining men. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I realized most of the people who joined in 2011 just liked wearing spandex and dressing up when it wasn't Halloween. Some were trying to get famous or use my team to create merchandising and cash flow opportunities for themselves, which you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to go out and do something good in the world. The intense, sinewy, heavily tattooed man continues on a recent, relatively balmy evening. Now, he wears a mask and everything to hide his identity, but dude, you're covered in tattoos. You're not hiding. You've got neck tattoos, okay? People know who you are. You're not hiding. Dressed entirely in black, the Muay Thai trained devil conceals his face behind a red and black tactical half mask popular with paintball players. The backwards ball cap on his head is as opposed to all the other places you would put your ball cap, is affixed with a pair of 2-inch polycarbonate devil's horns. Yep, he's got devil horns all right. Oh, and he has okay, I'm sorry. That is not a neck tattoo. It's a beard. It was just a really bad picture. So he actually has a beard. Yep, people know who you are, dude. He left his body armor home the night of the post patrol. On his utility belt is a knife, a flashlight, a first aid kit, a seatbelt cutter that doubles as a glass breaker, and other items. So it's not like he's out there thwarting crime. It sounds like he's just helping people. I call a cop if I need a gun. Or you could live in Texas and just bring your gun. The homegrown vigilante explained from outside the H&M Deli grocery on Wilson Avenue, all while surveilling the bustling park with crystal blue eyes. He's not a vigilante if he calls the cops when he needs a gun. So these people, I appreciate the crystal blue eyes and yardy yardy, but come on. On this particular night, the devil's on the prowl for an accused rapist. Intel gleaned by his aide-de-camp, cyber investigator E0N, ethical data aggregator SIG, medical expert Bones, mission analyst Barry Vale, technical specialist Discordia Matrix, and legal eagle Spectral Hawk. These guys are all LARPers. Confirms the violent predator is back in the neighborhood after spending an extended period out west. The devil also steps into stores in the area asking owners and employees if they'd seen the man in question. If he spots him, he says he'll share the location with police. So that's not a vigilante. That's just a guy on the lookout. I like how they all wear like foo-foo eyewear. Oh, he has his own little logo and everything.
Nice.
I would also let him know a guy who looks like me's got eyes on him, the devil said. I'll see if some other contacts can look into gathering information or even just watching the area. I know a few people in this neighborhood that would do it. As he walks along Warefield Street, two preteen girls stop dead in their tracks. A group of young women on their way to Hazley Ale House can't help but stare. I don't blame him. He does look kind of scary, and he is on a skateboard. A conversation between five friends comes to a halt on a beach in Knickerbocker Avenue as the devil approaches. Yo, check this S out, says Marlon, gesturing toward the devil. What's going on, man? When told later the devil's a real-life superhero, Marlon smiles widely. Well, if he's trying to do good out here, I'm all for it. I'm sure the cops could use the help. Boy, could they. Boy, could they. He does look kind of badass, except for the, skateboard. Says he's been skateboarding since early high school, but could never do the tricks. People never see me like this, just walking around, the devil offers. When people see me out here, I'm either flying by on my black electric longboard capable of reaching 40 miles per hour. That's not scary at all. Where are the brakes? Or handling some situation on the streets. From afar, his board, nicknamed Hella One, makes it appear as though the devil's floating across the blacktop. I'm usually barreling down these roads.
We can certainly edit that out.
That's why I go silent for a while so I can see it. But if you're yapping, I can't.
Bless you.
Thanks. We're gonna have to turn on the AC again because I'm starting to get dizzy.
We can pause anytime you want.
Over
Go ahead.
Over the years, the New York Initiative have walked up on stalkers lurking outside residential buildings and helped identify a racist subway tagger, he says. Racist subway tagger? Wouldn't that be everybody who's a tagger? The devil even claims he pulled a man off a woman once, stopping a suspected rape. The thing is, I'm able to de-escalate issues most of the time, and then I just keep tabs on aggressors. Most people's idea of crime fighting is beating people's asses, and that's a very oversimplified estimation. There's a long game to it. I think half of it is just them knowing that somebody's out there. The son of ex-felons who spent his childhood around bikers, meth addicts, and sex workers, the devil says he also helps the homeless in Brooklyn and often brings them home-cooked grub. In addition to street patrols, the devil says he rides the subways incognito in plain clothes, ready to intervene if danger arises. I stop violent crime and sexual assaults only. All right. Only. Citing New York Penal Law 35, which exempts individuals from liability when justifiably intervening to stop a crime. He says he can't do the tricks, but he's on that thing. And he is scary looking. I have to hand it to him. He and his team have also exposed 4 internet predators within the larger real-life superhero community, he said, noting one is currently incarcerated in Minnesota. Good job. This needs to stop, he explained. We can build something real, but we need to make the real-life superhero community an unsafe place for pedophiles and predators first. The devil said he feels he has to do whatever he can to right wrongs throughout the city. He admits it's becoming something of an obsession for him. I can't stand abusers, and I can't stand it when people are taken advantage of. Of course, the NYPD did not provide any comment. They also didn't substantiate any of the claims he's made about stopping or interrupting crimes. So if they're not speaking, that means it's probably true.
Probably.
All right. Now let's do something fluffy.
We'll do some fluffy.
Something fluffy.
A Hampshire zoo has announced the birth of a cotton-top tamarin as they mark Endangered Species Day. They're so cute. Now Marwell Zoo near Winchester. I have not been drinking anything
No
but
alcohol happening, folks.
just caffeinated beverages all day, is launching a competition to name the tiny monkey, with voters given the option of 3 names from the Addams family to follow in the family tradition, as its older siblings are called Bugsley and Pubert.
Pubert?
The choice of names...
Wait, you said Bugsley. Pugsley.
Pugsley, that's what I said.
Who's Pubert?
I have no idea. You'll have to look
I
it
know
up
who
on
Pugsley is, but who's Pubert?
I don't know, probably their cousin. The choice of names in the competition are Fester, Lurch, and Gomez.
Gomez for sure.
Gomez for sure.
Lurch is dumb. I mean, not the character, but the name.
Amy Den.
Hubert is a major character in the film. He is the newborn son of Gomez and Morticia and the baby brother of one. Okay, so
All
he's
right.
new.
So
That's why I don't know
Pugsley's
who
baby
he is.
brother. Okay.
Okay.
Amy Denny, animal team leader for primates and small mammals, said that parents Miko and Gert would take turns carrying the new arrival, which clings to the fur on their backs and tummy areas before it becomes fully independent at about 5 months old. She said cotton-tipped tamarins are native to Colombia.
Oh, they actually are called cotton-tipped. Oh, that's so adorable.
And they're critically endangered with only 2,000 individuals left in the wild. They are threatened in the wild by residential and agricultural development and the pet trade, naturally. This is a really exciting time for our troop at Marwell, as this is the second time our pair have reproduced. Miko and Gert play an important role in the EAZA AC2 program, ensuring a healthy population of tamarins exists in human care to conserve the species. Last year was quite overwhelming for the first-time parents learning to look after their infants and being the sole care providers. However, this time around they have the help of juveniles Pugsley and Pubert. Cotton-top tamarins cooperatively rear their offspring, meaning all members of the troop take it in turns to carry the babies. This gives the parents an important chance to rest. While Dad Miko does most of the hard work, older brother Pugsley has also started sharing the workload and taking the baby outside with him while playing and foraging for food.
That is so adorable.
The babies have an incredible grip and cling onto the carrier while leaping around the habitat, which, although a little nerve-wracking, is great fun to watch. Ms. Denny said in the wild, cotton-headed tamarins live in humid forests where they can leap from tree trunk to tree trunk using their claw-like nails to grip onto bark. When resting or sleeping, they coil their tails over one shoulder and along their back, and they communicate with each other through contact calls, she explained. Cotton-tipped tamarins are named because of the long tufts of white fur on the top of their heads, and they eat fruit, flowers, nectar, and small prey such as frogs, snails, and insects.
I think we kind of gathered the cotton-tip name.
That well.
Anyways, they are absolutely precious. See, and that's something that we were talking about because we just went to the zoo this week.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people hate zoos and whatnot. And I get that. I mean, I get upset because I see the big cats in such a small enclosure, but typically they're not there for long. And zoos have completely changed. They're so different now than what they used to be. They try to give the animals as much habitat and interaction. Well, not interaction so much as
They try to keep it as close to a natural habitat as possible.
Well, right, but they're also trying to keep them entertained and it's the word I'm looking for. I hate it when I have
occupied?
a word. Not occupied, stimulated. Like we were wondering, okay, why are there sheets, just random sheets in the orangutan habitat? Yeah. And they said that they like playing with them and he looked at us and held up his hand, and he's being stimulated and he's being treated well.
Mm-hmm.
And typically now what zoos have become, and I remember this when I was mentoring at Rocky Shores in in Tacoma at Point Defiant Zoo, is the belugas would come. And there were typically rescues that needed medical attention or, something to help them before they would be released back in the wild, and that's what they would do. And then there were other animals like Tilly, the polar bear, that couldn't be released back into the wild because he just wouldn't know how to survive.
Right.
But they also do a lot with helping create the next generation of endangered species. And you see a lot more of that with smaller animals like, snakes and frogs and things like that. But every now and then, like we have giraffes.
Right.
And they have a birthing program with giraffes and different kinds and educating the public. And, we've got 2 baby giraffes now, which wouldn't have occurred without intervention.
Well,
so they do a lot of good.
The local zoo, Cameron Park Zoo, they're opening an education, a veterinary education center, which is going to be wonderful. It's going to help quite a lot.
The 20 minutes that we got to spend with the zookeeper at because I have a thing for giraffes, I always have. I learned more in that 20 minutes than I have hours on the internet.
Right.
I mean, there's just no replacement for that. I mean, we can read and read and read and read, but you just, until you're there and they're giving you insights and these little things that they just know and experiences, it's just not the same. So I have, yes, there are, excuse me, there are some scary zoos out there. I mean, we all watch the Tiger King and all that. But most zoos that are in operation right now are mostly funded by donors,
Or
and
like ourselves.
like ourselves, and are out there protecting the animals and helping them continue. And I have a lot of really good things to say about them. So you're not going to go to a zoo and see a great white shark or a blue whale, and that's never going to happen. And the same people who have the heart to go out there and protect those animals in the wild are taking care of the giraffe breeding program or the tamarin breeding program in these zoos.
Mm-hmm.
The zoos got a really bad rep, deservedly.
Right.
You think back to what we did to elephants in the circuses was just atrocious, and putting tigers and lions in tiny cages is awful. They need to be able to run.
Right.
And
I think that's one of the reasons that it's that shift in public opinion, which is why Ringling Brothers isn't a thing anymore.
no, it's exactly what it is. I mean, them stopping with the elephants, I think, was a huge step. And I mean, yeah, it was disappointing to a lot of people who wanted to see them.
Right.
At the same time, these are intelligent animals.
Oh, they're amazing.
And to treat them basically as slaves when they could understand what was happening, I mean, that's just awful. I mean, it's
Right.
not the same thing as putting a fish in a fish tank and they have a 3-second attention span and have no idea what's going on and all they care about
Right.
is food. Elephants grieve. Elephants, they're and there's lots of animals out there like that.
Primates in general.
Yeah, I mean, we're Christians,
We are.
but I have absolutely no issue with knowing that we are very closely related to primates. I mean, it's
Right.
obvious in
Right.
biology.
Well, yeah, it's
and
pretty
and
pretty
frankly,
clear.
I have no issue with theories of evolution. Why wouldn't God do that? You start out with this creature and you're like, wonder what would happen if I tweaked this or it did that or it branched off here or
Natural
whatever.
selection does not mean God doesn't exist.
No. I just absolutely don't understand why people think the two are mutually exclusive.
I don't
That
know.
makes no sense to
I
me
don't
at
know.
all. And math and chemistry and biology and science in general really is explained better by a creator. I mean, all the
Right.
people who think, oh, well, I'm non-religious, but I believe in that we're in the Matrix, that this is a simulation or whatever. It's like, dude, you just want to say you believe in God without saying you believe in God.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, I have no issue with that, and I'm perfectly happy to discuss that. I feel sorry for Christians who profess their faith and can't back that up with science, because to me that's admitting a weakness that I see in particular religions I won't go too deep in. But if you cannot discuss or question your belief system, then you don't have enough faith in it for you to be in that belief system.
I think that, well,
And I
you
feel
could-
the same thing about voters. If you're going to back a candidate just because the other guy's evil, or you're going to back a candidate just because they're on your team, but you can't tell me what their policies are or why you believe in them, or what you have as much faith in them as you do in a God you don't believe in. And I'm not comparing politics to religion, yet at the same time, we are in the middle of a society that equates the two. They literally equate the two. And it's messy, and like I said, there's no reason we can't have both. So, getting back to the original subject,
Yes.
zoos at one time were indeed horrible places where animals suffered. And I'm not going to say that has been completely eradicated. There are still places where that happens. For the most part, though, there has been a huge turn. And I think it has a lot to do with people, honest to God, people speaking out and people saying no.
Well, it's one of the reasons that they don't have killer whales at SeaWorld anymore is because...
Well, that and, they kept killing their trainers. And no offense, but rightfully so. They're called killer whales. What more did you need to know?
But it's happy little Shamu. What, just chomp.
those animals deserve to be free. And they
Yes.
don't deserve to be in an aquarium. They're too big. They're too smart. They need to be out there. I mean, they're top tier predators. And nobody has a great white shark in captivity for a reason. The killer whales will hunt down and kill great white sharks. And you're thinking, oh, we're going to tame them just because they're mammals and we can bop them on the nose and feed them a fish? No, you're an idiot.
Well, see, I didn't know any of that when I was a kid, and I enjoyed watching Shamu. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, and pinnipeds, seals, walruses, also amazing creatures. So when I look at animals in the zoo, the first thing I always want to do, no matter what zoo I'm at, is I want to find the card that tells me when did this particular animal come in and what needs to be done before it can be released back into the wild. And that is where I get my joy. I know we had to gather recently at the zoo to say goodbye to, a male giraffe, and he's going off to a different zoo because he's part of the breeding program, and it's hard to say goodbye because they actually you get to know them by name, and they you visit when we have and we're members, so we have
We have an annual
pass
membership,
and we renew it every year, so you get to know them. And at the same time, if he can help propagate his species, and we can save them and protect them and learn more about them and set them free, Godspeed and God bless, and we'll miss you, but off you go, buddy, do your thing. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'll get lachrymose. All right. Lachrymose, yes.
I lack remorse too.
Yeah. Those are two different things.
I know.
Okay, speaking of which, we've been talking a lot about, in Vegas in particular, why don't we have more solar? And the wind's always blowing. Why don't we have more wind? And, everybody made fun of Trump and everything when he said that the windmills were killing birds, but they literally do. And if that weren't true, then this article wouldn't exist. So off you go, Jimmy.
Off I go, Jimmy. Wind turbines can pose a deadly risk to migrating birds, but there are ways to dramatically reduce crashes. Across Europe's rugged mountains, a hopeful change is underway. Vultures are back, almost driven into extinction by hunting, poisoning,
vultures.
Well, they have a purpose.
I know, it's just we
Almost
have so
driven
many of them.
Well, yeah,
here.
Texas is overrun by them. Almost driven into extinction by hunting, poisoning, and habitat loss, the huge scavengers are being reintroduced by conservation teams that painstakingly hand-rear birds supported by pairs of adoptive vulture parents before releasing them into the wild. The projects have successfully returned several vulture species to the Alps and mountains of Andalusia in Spain, and is also restoring populations in other areas of Europe. Globally, vultures are not doing well, says Jose Tavares, director of the Vulture Conservation Foundation. Europe is the only bright spot, and Texas. Here, we have been able to revert the trend. Vulture populations have been growing, increasing in distribution, and reoccupying their former range.
Yeah, we have no problems with vulture
No, we don't have
populations
anyone here. They have even revived their ancient seasonal migratory routes, flying from Europe to Africa via the Strait of Gibraltar
Now,
to overwinter.
I did not know that vultures did that.
I did not know either.
That is brand
That
new
is
information.
Via the Strait of Gibraltar to overwinter as far south as Mali. But As the birds take to the skies, a modern threat is endangering their travels: the giant spinning blades of wind turbines. Wind farms are expanding in Europe and around the world as part of the renewable energy revolution, and they are competing with birds for the best winds. Migratory birds, which account for almost 20% of all bird species — I didn't know it was that high — are especially at risk.
I actually thought it was higher, but I'm weird.
Collisions are particularly high during their seasonal migration, when billions of them are in the sky and in areas of migratory bottlenecks such as narrow sea crossings or mountain passes where winds are funneled at high speeds. Building wind farms in those windy sites makes sense from an energy production point of view, but it gets in the way of those traveling birds. Oil and gas drilling, however, has a worse impact on bird numbers than wind farms, according to a 2024
And we're
study.
not talking about the giant wind turbines out in the ocean and all of the whales that are dying now. That's
While wind power is a crucial weapon in the fight against climate change, as Tavares points out, it can clash with efforts to protect and bring back endangered birds. A vulture needs to be alive for 10 years before it can start to breed, says Tavares.
That's interesting.
This makes captive breeding expensive. It seems silly to spend millions of euros trying to save a species only to put a wind farm or electric pylon in the wrong place and kill all those years of effort. A range of solutions in different countries, paired with new research on how birds actually travel and perceive the world, aim to reduce this risk and help struggling species cope better with our changing energy landscape.
Well,
This is a very long article.
Yeah, we don't have to
So-
go into details. Our vultures don't migrate.
No.
They stay here all year long. And every time you look up in the sky and you see this beautiful, bird using the airlift, and it's like soaring with a long wingspan, you're like, oh, look at that raptor. No, it's a vulture. Every time you see a bunch of black chickens on the ground, you're like, oh, look at the chick. Nope, they're vultures. I mean, there are so many of them here. All right, so they go into how birds see the world, different birds, all kinds of things. This article will, of course, be archived and on counterculturewise.com, where you can go and visit and learn more about vultures and wind turbines. And
All
okay, so
kinds of
what
stuff.
is the solution?
Well, there's several
The
of them.
power of the black blade. Okay, because I wanted to get to solutions. One
Okay.
solution is make the blades of the wind turbines much more visible. Researchers suggest so they stand out and really catch the bird's attention. So that's why they look like Beetlejuice now, which actually makes them more fun. The smaller wind farm in the west coast of Norway has 68 turbines and covers 18 square kilometers. What is with me in my phraseology today? Making it one of the largest onshore wind farms in Norway. In 2020, researchers from the Norwegian Institute for Nature Research and the Trondheim painted one blade on each turbine black and found that avian fertilities dropped by 70%.
Whoa.
70.
7-0?
That is huge. In the UK, Martin and his colleague Alex Banks, an ornithology specialist at Natural England, have tried another approach. They suggest turbines painted with black and white stripes could be the best way to alert and protect birds, including kittiwakes, a type of seabird that has suffered rapid population declines in recent decades. There's a kittiwake colony of about 200 pairs that I monitor, says Banks. When I go down to see them, I cross my fingers and hope they can have a good breeding season. They've got a place in my heart, definitely. He says the risk of collision with offshore wind turbines while migrating, but also once they've settled down to breed. Kittiwakes and other species like gannets and great black-backed gulls nest on the coast every day. They fly out to the marine environment to get food. That's where we're putting offshore wind turbines. These species have evolved to forage in those areas and don't expect to find obstacles. Right, so they probably wouldn't even see them against the horizon. Rather than attempting to contrast the wind turbines against the ever-changing seascape, dividing the blades into thirds of black and white would give an internal contrast, creating the flickering effect when not rotating. However, warns Martin, making wind farms more conspicuous can prompt birds to take longer routes to get around a wind turbine field, expending more energy and taking longer to get back to their hungry chicks. I think they'll adapt, though. Stripes, reflectors, or spinners may also fail to get the bird's attention if they are not just looking that way. That's why researchers from Will and Mary University in Virginia, U.S. are working on a solution that uses a different signal sound. A hissing lighthouse. Okay, so we're using sound. We have hissy white noise, alerts the migrating birds that there's danger ahead. I still think they're going to reroute around them, but at least we're trying. At least we're trying.
Absolutely.
And all those people that called Trump crazy and stupid and nasty, dude, proof right here. So just saying. I hope these things will help these poor birds. So, yeah.
Excuse me.
All right. So this one is a little, well, I want to say close to home, but we don't live there anymore. But back when we lived there, this was close to home.
Well, it's still emotionally close to home in a way.
Always will be.
Yeah. The Colorado River supplies water to 40 million people in 7 states and parts of Mexico. The only problem? It's been experiencing a mega drought since 2000. In fact, studies found that 2000 to 2021 marked the driest period in the Colorado River Basin in the last 1,200 years due to declines in snowfall runoff from Colorado and Wyoming mountains.
How can they predict or even know? You said 12,000, but it's 1,200.
Did I say 12,000?
There's not measurements for 1,200 years. There's nobody.
I think they use computer models, but I don't know.
Well, that's the problem, though. Is computer models are almost 100% wrong. Okay, we'll keep reading.
New research out of the. That's very important. Big butt. Stick my butt big out. My big butt.
Big butt right in the middle.
But new research out of the University of Colorado Boulder gives reason for hope. While temperature increases due to climate change are a major factor in decreases in snowfall runoff, they don't paint the whole picture.
Well, right, because there's other things that would contribute to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Climate control. I'm sorry. Wow. Climate control? I'm weird.
Eh.
A climate model analysis from the University of Colorado Boulder's
so it is a model. It's not
Right.
a real.
No, it's just this is educated guesswork.
Right. Semi-educated.
Cooperative Institute for Research and Environmental Scientists posits that precipitation is also an important indicator.
It's posits.
I apologize. Posits that precipitation is also an important factor of the river basin's health. The good news, scientists are forecasting a 70% chance of increased precipitation over the next 25 years compared to what they've seen over the past 2 decades. It's sort of a nuanced message. Balaji Rajagopal, no?
Good luck with that one.
Balaji Rajagopalan.
Let's just call him Burr or BR from now on.
I call him BR, you got it. Co-author of the study said in a statement, the temperature is warming, but that's not the full story. You add precipitation and you get a fuller picture.
Hello.
The full story was published in the Journal of Climate last month, a result of data, or as they say in Canada, the Journal of Climate last month, a result of data analysis of flow records at Lee's Ferry, the dividing point of the Uppers River. Wow. You know, the words are right in front of me. The river's upper and lower basins. Rajago RB.
You said RB.
BR. And his
BR.
research partner, Martin Hurling, MH.
Go, Raj.
Looked at records dating back to 1895. They confirmed the natural changes in. It says participation. I'm pretty sure they meant precipitation.
I'm going with participation.
Yeah, okay. So you get a precipitation
Natural
trophy for
changes
that.
in those who are participating in our little study.
Okay. Have fluctuated for much of that time, dictating extreme wet and dry periods for the river.
Well, I'm going to participate and make it more wet. I'm going to be out there with my hose.
There you go, you hoser. We find it is more likely than not that Lee Ferry flows will be greater during 2026 to 2020, from 26 to 50 than since 2000 as a consequence of a more favorable precipitation cycle.
Aw, man.
MH, the paper's
It should have been
lead
a
author, said.
participation cycle.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody get on board. Let's do this. We can spit.
Ding. This will compensate for the negative effects of more warming in the near term.
Why do we need the 4? Did he say this will compensate the negative effects? Is that what he
Yeah,
actually said?
they put the word for. The editors of this article put the 4 in brackets.
So
this will compensate the negative effects of more warming.
Educated expert, that's how he speaks.
Righto.
All right, Raji. Well, maybe English is a second language. Okay, I'll give him that.
But it's hurling, that don't matter. How do I know? During the last 2+ decades, about 12.5 million acre-feet of water per year flowed down the Colorado River. That sounds like a lot, but that's significantly short of the 14.5 million acre-feet norm. Well, the norm prior to the early aughts. Using climate models, including the latest projections from the IPCC, the study's researchers predicted the river's flow 25 years into the future, suggesting that flows could rise to 13.5 million or 14 million acre-feet averages between 2026
They're going to
and
lose their
2050.
jobs for predicting something good. You know they are.
Yeah.
That's a conspiracy
But
theory.
they have an escape clause, which I will get to very, very shortly. So much of the conversation has been that there is almost a foregone conclusion that we're only going to see less water in the Colorado River. Nanette Hosenfeld, also a hoser, senior hydrometeorologist at the Colorado Basin
That's the
River
thing.
Forecast Center.
Hydrometeorologist.
Yeah, I'm liable to mispronounce it, so that's the only time I'm going to use that word. Told the Colorado Sun, I think this just does a good job of raising awareness that that's not necessarily true. Although these predictions are promising, there is still a chance that conditions could get worse. According to Hurling, there is a roughly 4% chance that leaf area flows could decline another 20% in the next quarter century, yielding only 10 million acre-feet a year.
4%.
Yep.
Less than the inflation rate. I just want to interject that. 4%.
Okay, then go ahead and
chance.
interject it.
All right. Las Vegas.
Years.
Would you vote on anything based on a 4% chance?
No,
All right.
because I'm a Las Vegas guy.
Carry on.
That means officials and policymakers and other dictators must prepare for both outcomes as they navigate the ebbs and flows of river management for the future.
Well, I mean, I'm saying prepare for the 4%, but don't make that the mandate.
No, you don't want to base it on that. That would be, well, it'd be typical, but it would
they
be wrong.
will.
It's typical, but they would be wrong to do that. Decision makers are confronted with a more optimistic vision of the available supply in coming decades.
Wait.
What?
Confronted?
I know, it sounds kind of negative, and this isn't a negative thing.
Oh my God. They might actually see a more optimistic vision. Ooh!
These days,
They can't handle that.
These days, that actually falls under the category of confrontation, because people cling to their beliefs so desperately that, well, anyway.
They're confronted.
They're confronted.
What an interesting word choice.
Yeah. With a more optimistic vision of the available supply in coming decades than might have generally been foreseen previously, Hurling said in a statement, but also confronted with a small but perhaps unacceptable risk for historically low flows. I would have used a different word from confronted, because that
Presented, perhaps?
presented, yeah, I think presented would be better, or shown.
But confronted sounds like it's wrong and
Yeah,
bad.
see, confronted or confront or confrontation always, it tends to have a negative connotation.
By design.
Yeah.
So they're
Anyway.
confronted with the possibility that this nonsense won't happen.
I'm confronting myself with some of your shepherd's pie after the show's over. Tribal nations, environmental groups, and academics.
That's an inside joke. I don't think folks know.
Oh yeah, she makes a killer shepherd's pie. It's with some alternative ingredients to lower the carbohydrate count. She uses cauliflower instead of mashed potatoes.
I used an entire head of cauliflower and
lots
an
of
entire
butter.
stick of butter.
Yeah, lots of butter. Usually beef.
All the veggies. I mean, I would use lamb, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, lamb would be great. But
One
yeah,
of these days I will.
Yeah. And she bakes it like a casserole, and it's absolutely delicious. And
Sometimes I'll use beef broth, and this time I decided to use the Trader Joe's vodka sauce. Not a sponsor, but would take them on in a heartbeat, but they won't have us because they're low.
they would.
And I really, really miss having one nearby.
Yeah, let's say this. I would gladly have them as a sponsor when they open a location here in the Central Texas area.
They will make
that's
so much
not
money.
in Austin. You know,
Come on, we're a college town. We're in Waco.
Waco's you
would make
you'd have Baylor kids there all day long.
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 Right. Tribal nations, getting back to why we're here, tribal nations, environmental groups, and academics are all working to propose guidelines for storing and releasing water from the basin's reservoirs. And states along the river basin released competing proposals in March after tense negotiations. See, there was some confrontation there.
Mm-hmm.
The upper basin proposal would require states in the lower basin to start conserving water if the reservoir levels fall below certain points, while the lower basin proposal would require all 7 states to cut water usage. Ultimately,
Kind of hard to do when they're all in a desert.
yeah. I'm guessing they're going to require the states to cut water usage once they make the decision, because that's what they tend to lean more towards a little bit more control than the other way. Ultimately, decision makers have until 2026 to make up their minds. I'm kidding. When the current rules expire, to finalize the guidelines that will govern the future of the river. Although it's complicated to approach from a policy perspective, Hurling hopes the science will provide a fresh lens. He told the Colorado Sun, "I think that what's important to recognize here is that the future doesn't have to be seen as a downhill-only prospect."
But we're not
These guys
allowed.
are being ridiculously optimistic given
Right.
the political climate these days. But
Well, no, they're
I-
being honestly optimistic, which goes against the politics, which
Yeah.
is why, they have
no,
to
you
be,
have a valid point.
they have to be confronted with the truth, which goes against everything they
Yeah.
believe. So
Well, I mean, at any rate, it's this is
and
potential
you have
cause
to
for
consider
happiness here.
this river is highly, highly regulated and controlled. I mean, you get down here where you're in whole Bullhead City, even Lake Mead. Lake Mead is a man-made lake. Lake Powell. You go along this river, there are so many dams and so many human-controlled areas. They're the ones controlling it ultimately.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
All
crazy.
right. Well, we got some killer news.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the best term to use.
Well, no, the opposite. Okay, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. This
I
anyway.
mean,
This
we
is
like
real
to. I
fantastic.
love reporting on science that is like changing lives. Okay, this beautiful young lady who's gone through so much. After less than a year of treatment with an experimental new cancer drug, make this a little bigger so all of us old people can read it. A young woman has seen her tumor vanish. Vanish. This is amazing. Trying to move this over, don't mind me. This takes a little bit of thing, and there we go. Now you can see it. After less than a year of treatment with an experimental new cancer drug, a young woman has seen her tumor vanish, along with her fears that she would never be able to carry another child. Look at her beautiful babies! These are the people that should be breeding. It should have been the happiest days of Kelly Spill's life until shortly after she delivered her first baby, she received a life-threatening cancer diagnosis, which seems to be really a lot more prevalent than I remember growing up. Cancer was an ooga booga that happened to nobody. And now I can't even point to a person without either they have it or someone in their immediate family has it.
Like me. I mean, I don't have it. Someone in my immediate family does.
Well, and my dearest best friend and my mom.
Yeah.
And it's gotten kind of weird.
Several of my best friends.
And we don't have
gotten
cancer in our family at all. Like nobody in my family, all the way back to the Mayflower, has died of cancer. All of a sudden, my mom, brain cancer. My best friend.
Yeah, all mine back to the Edmund Fitzgerald. I don't know.
You don't know.
I have no idea. I'm adopted. I have no idea.
You don't know. Hey, that as far as you know, they're healthy all the way back to the Holocaust. So knock yourself out.
Boy.
The 28-year-old from New Jersey was still recuperating in the hospital with her little boy Chase, cute name, when she began to experience fatigue and bleeding, weight loss, and loss of appetite. Her doctors told her it was probably just symptoms of childbirth, but for reasons not explained with her interview, Spill said she knew it was cancer. Interesting. How does she know? Stage 3 colorectal cancer was the Stage 3?
Yeah, colorectal.
They missed that?
Yeah.
I don't even have words. A colonoscopy. How did they miss that? But this supermom's first fear wasn't for her own life, that she wouldn't be able to have another child, as she and her husband always wanted at least 3. I hope she has 3. After looking around for hospitals, she decided to seek treatment at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York.
One of the greatest.
One of the
best.
world's leading cancer treatment centers. I know we got a few in Washington and California, but knock yourself out, kid. Lexi tried them all. But even here, she was told radiation, chemotherapy, and surgery were the treatment options, which her doctors told her would seriously jeopardize her chances of ever giving birth again, something she said was really hard to hear at just 28 years old. What's interesting is the doctors who tell you that's your only choice also would not do it themselves.
Right. I myself would not.
I wouldn't.
I know I say that.
I'd rather die
saying
gracefully.
that to the best of my knowledge, I don't have such.
No,
But-
they start telling me I don't care. I'm no trans. You start removing my body parts, I'm out. Just let me die gracefully. Radiation targeted at or absorbed by a woman's reproductive organs can affect fertility. Duh. As can chemotherapy. Duh. Which may cause women to lose fertility-related hormones. Hormones. Duh.
Dr. Amanda Schwerda.
Duh. No, come on. She's probably a very, whatever, Hope Center of California, yardy.
No, she's a radiation oncologist. So
Right.
she
Dr.
knows
Shore
this
was,
stuff.
who would not follow her own treatment if you asked her and she were in that predicament. Dr. Shore was not involved with Spill's treatment, which, considering the severity of the cancer, Spill decided to pursue regardless of her dreams of an expanded family. Oh, honey. Just take the cancer out. Go vegan for a bit. No sugar. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
sugar's the
no
worst.
sugar. And that's the problem is vegans are total sugar hounds. That's like their entire diet is sugar.
So where does it say
But
she's
luck was
vegan?
on her. No, that's what I'm saying. That's how you get rid of it.
Oh,
So
okay.
my mom literally reversed her diabetes and her cancer, but couldn't handle it and wanted to drink wine and boom,
Yeah.
But luck was on, and Lexi, same way. She wanted pasta. I get it. I do. I mean,
No, I
who wants
completely
to live
get
the
that.
rest of your life without pasta? But it shortened her life by probably 20 years.
Yeah.
But luck was on her side, as just one day before she was scheduled for her first chemotherapy session, members of the SU2C colorectal cancer dream team, a research team at Memorial Sloan, informed her she would be eligible for a new clinical trial to test a gentler new drug for colorectal cancer. Wow, talk about, flag on the field. Dang. Called dostarlimab.
Dostarlimab. Almost every cancer drug I'm aware of ends with ab. And I
Does it
don't know
now?
why.
If it worked as the developers believed it might, then radiation, chemo, and even surgery might all be avoided, all of which would, literally kill her. I don't know a single person who died of their cancer. Everybody.
It's usually the treatment that
It's usually
kills
the
you.
treatment. I mean, my mom, the tumor did end up pressing on the part of the brain that registers pain. So
So she was in a constant state of extreme
until she went into
agony.
a coma.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% believe that it was the chemo that did that to her. I do. Because she, you met her. You didn't even know she had cancer until I told you.
Right,
She had
right.
reversed it. They couldn't find her tumor. And the minute she started, because I don't want to go too deep into it, but basically
Right.
her husband told her that if she didn't do what the doctors told her to do, he would leave her. So she did, and she died. So I guess in essence he was right. He left her. Anyway, all I knew at that time was that the side effects of this immunotherapy would be a lot less harsh on my body than chemo, and I would have a chance of a better quality of life, maybe even another baby. God bless her, and God bless that organization for finding her. All kinds of immunotherapy drugs are under development after the initial technology won a Nobel Prize more than half a decade ago. GNN has reported on several, including
Good
one that
News
has cured
Network.
several children of leukemia. Good News Network, yes. Oh my God, cured children of leukemia.
Look at the little baby.
We have a child in our life that is going through this right now. I hope they're in touch with that. Spill was just the 4th person to receive dostarlimab, which she took as an injection every week for 6 months. After her 4th treatment, Spill got the news. Her tumor had shrunk to half its original size. Oh my God, look at those babies. They're so precious. Look at that tiny little thing. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's pretty. She makes good looking babies.
Make more babies! By the 9th treatment, my tumor had completely disappeared, which was extremely exciting, she said. Having frozen an embryo in advance of the cancer treatment, Spill's first thought was to go for number 2, but followed her doctor's advice that she should wait 2 years and see if the cancer returns. It didn't. In July of 2023, Spill gave birth to a healthy baby girl named Maya Grace. That's a good name. She remains cancer-free to this day. Oh, God bless her little family. May you continue to grow. I hope you get the 3 that you wanted. Sadie agrees.
That is an amazing story. All right. Well, this comes from our beautiful current state of
I can't even believe
Republic
this
of
man.
Texas.
I can't even believe that in this state, I mean, in California maybe, but here, I can't even believe that this man was convicted.
Well, the New York this is from the New York Times, and the headline reads: Texas governor pardons man in fatal shooting of protester in 2020, and then the subtitle says the man Daniel S. Perry was convicted of killing a protester during a Black Lives Matter demonstration in Austin. So
What they don't
make it
say-
sound like he's a criminal. So
Right.
let's continue and
Let's
find out
continue
what
with
really
what really
happened.
happened.
Governor Greg Abbott of Texas on Thursday pardoned a man who was convicted of fatally shooting a protester during a Black Lives Matter demonstration in the summer of 2020, fulfilling a promise he made last year amid pressure from conservatives. The decision immediately followed a pardon recommendation from the state's Board of Pardons and Paroles, whose members are appointed by the governor. Lawyers for the man, Daniel S. Perry, argued that he had acted in self-defense against the protester who was carrying an AK-47 style rifle.
Which is obvious in the video,
Right.
which they have access to.
Mr. Perry was sentenced to 25 years in prison in an emotional hearing last year in which prosecutors presented evidence of racist online comments he had made and said that psychological experts had found him to be basically a loaded gun.
Isn't it interesting how they don't actually show you these so-called racist comments?
Yeah,
I'm
I would really...
fascinated. Fascinated by that.
I mean, there's a link to says racist online
it says
comments.
that,
which,
but you follow the link. Mm-hmm. Unsealed evidence shows racist comments, threats of violence made by Daniel Perry. Okay, well, let's see what these racist comments were. Graphic descriptions of violence. Okay. On May 29, 2020, after George Floyd was not murdered, so we already know that this is untrue. George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. That is what the coroner said. But he had to walk it back because his family was threatened with the death by burn, loot, murder. Anyway, I might go to Dallas to shoot looters, he says.
I don't know.
How is that racist if they're looting?
Well,
I'm actually okay with that. 2 days later, according to the records, Perry said in a Facebook message that when he is in Dallas, quote, "No protesters go near me or my car." Okay. "Can you catch me a Negro daddy?" the other man replied. So that was not Perry who said that. That was somebody else.
right.
That is what I'm hoping Perry said.
All right.
I'm not 100% sure what that means, but okay, that does sound kind of racist. In June, Perry sent text messages from an unknown area detailing bars closing and, quote, "the blacks, ... so I don't know what actually got said there, gathering up in a group. I think something is about to happen." So they deleted a whole bunch there, and I have no idea what that actually was.
So they can manipulate that kind of thing.
Right.
Anyway.
Quote, "I wonder if they will let my cut the ears off people who's decided to commit suicide by me," he added. I think he might have been drinking.
Might have been just a little bit tipsy there,
A
yeah.
little bit.
A little bit. All right.
And yeah, there were some racist things. 2, T.O. bad we can't get paid for hunting Muslims in Europe, he said.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there might have been some alcohol
He
involved in
was
those.
obviously
Yeah.
snockered, and his, you know,
I want to go back to the
his
lady
right
who had the
wing.
babies.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
anyway, so he was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
right. An
An
emotional hearing last
racist
year.
online comments.
And said that psychological experts had found him to be basically a loaded gun. As the pardons board considered the case, lawyers with the Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza met with the board to argue against a pardon. Under Texas law, a recommendation from the board is necessary before the governor can grant a pardon. That's fair enough. That's a good way to do it. Texas has one of the strongest stand-your-ground laws of self-defense that cannot be nullified by a jury or a progressive district attorney. Mr. Abbott, a Republican, said in a statement on Thursday, I thank the board for its thorough investigation and I approve their pardon recommendation.
Nice.
The family of the protester, Garrett Foster, a 28-year-old former mechanic in the U.S. Air Force, expressed disbelief at the decision and saw political motivation. I must admit, if this were me, I would have seen the same thing.
You could try that, but not if you watch the video.
Okay. I will watch the video, but I'm not going to do it now.
I mean, these guys surrounded his car, threatened his life. He tried to get away, and they wouldn't let him. So he fired on the person who was trying to break into his car and kill him. They said they were going to do so.
Okay. Then I will have to check it to make sure. Republicans, including the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and the political pundit Tucker Carlson, had called for Mr. Perry's pardon. It doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone episode. This doesn't happen, Mr. Foster's mother, Sheila, said in a telephone interview. It seems like this is some kind of political circus, and it's costing me my life. Her son was a supporter of the Second Amendment, she said, who advocated free speech and had been attending the racial justice protests in 2020 day after day. He deserves so much better, Ms. Foster said. He was an Air Force veteran. He was out there protecting people from people like Perry. She recalled being worried for her son during the protests, but he had reassured her. He said, Mom, I'm fine. I'm not in danger, she recalled. The case landed at the intersection of some of the most contentious issues facing the nation, including the protests over George Floyd, I'm skipping a few words, the proliferation of military-style rifles in the hands of civilians, and the legal rights of those who choose to stand their ground and open fire rather than retreat.
We purposely choose sources that are extremely biased, just so you can see that bias.
Yeah. Okay, it actually says the protests over the killing of George Floyd. The proliferation of military-style rifles in the hands of civilians and the legal rights of those who choose to stand their ground and open fire rather than retreat when they perceive themselves to be under threat. Mr. Perry was an active duty U.S. Army sergeant on the night of July 25, 2020, when he was working as an Uber driver in downtown Austin and drove toward a crowd of demonstrators. It was there that a group of people that included Mr. Foster approached Mr. Perry's car. Mr. Foster, who, like Mr. Perry, was white, wore a bandana on his face and carried an AK-47 style rifle on a strap in front of him. Mr. Perry's lawyers said Mr. Foster had begun pointing his weapon, and it was then that Mr. Perry opened fire. During the trial, prosecutors showed evidence before the shooting of Mr. Perry's animosity towards protesters on social media. The jury reviewed video of the July 25 confrontation during their deliberations, according to an alternate juror, and considered the self-defense argument. But jurors ultimately voted to convict. Lawyers for Mr. Perry had asked for a new trial, saying that the information had been improperly introduced into the deliberations by at least one juror. But the judge in the case, Cliff Brown of the 147th Criminal District Court in Travis County, ruled that those actions did not undermine the verdict. The governor used his official pardon proclamation to attack the district attorney, writing that Mr. Garza had not sought to see justice done, but instead demonstrated unethical and biased misuse of his office in prosecuting Daniel Scott Perry. District Attorney Garza it goes on. Anyway, Doug O'Connell, a lawyer for Mr. Perry, thanked the Governor and Pardons Board. He is thrilled and elated to be free, Mr. O'Connell said of his client. He wishes that this tragic event never happened and wishes he had never had to defend himself against Mr. Foster's unlawful actions. He said Mr. Perry had lost his military career but would seek to have his discharge upgraded to honorable. The governor's pardon of Mr. Perry contrasted with his stance after the Pardons Board recommended a posthumous pardon for Mr. Floyd, who was killed by a police officer in Minneapolis in 2020
No, he
and had a
wasn't. He
minor
died
drug
of a
conviction
fentanyl.
while living in Houston.
Nope, he died of a fentanyl overdose.
Right. The governor took no action in Mr. Floyd's case, and months later,
It's
the
really
board
interesting. If you
rescinded
type in Daniel
recommendation.
Perry car attack,
Uh-huh.
the only videos that will come up are he was sentenced to 25 years. The original video has been completely wiped from the internet. Completely wiped. And I'm looking under DuckDuckGo and Brave. It's been wiped.
Really? Even those two, huh?
It's been wiped.
I don't find that too surprising, but I take your word for it. Anyhow, thank you, Governor. It sounds like you did the right thing, sir. And I'm sorry that, I'm sorry that both sides had to endure this. This is awful. It's just awful.
Well, I mean, you just watch the video. I'm sure it's horrific watching, your kid get shot. But you're watching your kid get shot after he threatened someone.
Yeah.
And was going to kill them.
Right.
I am still blown away. I get full analysis of the guilty appeal. Daniel Perry murder trial found guilty. Claims he killed. Choose to watch here. Watch. Nobody has the actual video. It's crazy. Okay, well, if I find it, I'll put it up on the website. They've got some like drawing rendering of let's just face it. Dude walked up with an AK, pointed it at dude in his car. Dude was trying to get away. AK dude is like, no, I'm gonna shoot you, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot you first, and then he gets, put up on murder charges. Well, yes, by definition, he murdered the guy, but it was 100% self-defense.
If it's self-defense,
100% self-defense.
then it's self-defense.
This
That's
should have
totally
been open
different.
and closed. Watch the video. Boom.
When it
self-defense.
involves BLM protests, it's a
but
different
dude
story.
was white. I mean, the same thing happened with Rittenhouse. They're like, oh, he killed a bunch of black people. No, he didn't.
He killed white people who were threatening him.
He killed white pedophiles. He made the world a better place.
Yeah. Anywho.
Oh, we do not belong on YouTube.
No, well, that's okay because we're not going to be there.
Right.
By the time this show's over.
Okay. Well, let's see here. That was weird and wonderful.
And now not so wonderful.
Right.
But still kind of weird.
Well,
Sort of.
let's just say this is why we can't have nice things. Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things. All right, so I guess the first one is mine.
It is.
This one's actually kind of funny. I'm kind of actually laughing at this one. So they set up this portal between Dublin and New York?
New York City, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And okay, all I have to say is they set up this portal between Dublin and New York City, and what does your mind immediately do? It's New York City. And what's funny is the very first sentence is, this is why we can't have nice things. That's literally the first sentence. This is why we can't have nice things. Yeah. So surprisingly no one, the voyeuristic new Portal Street exhibit in the Flatiron district connecting New York City and Dublin with a 24/7 live video feed has already caused chaos, with mischief makers on Ireland's side flashing everything from their bare bums to swastikas and a photo of the Twin Towers on 9/11.
Jeez. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah. Part interactive sculpture and part webcam, the 3.5-ton portal was installed on May 8th at the busy Manhattan junction of Broadway, 5th Avenue, and 23rd Street. I've actually been there. It opened in tandem with its sister portal in Dublin, positioned facing the city's bustling O'Connell Street. And hilarity ensued. It's funny, though, how it looks like the portal from the movie Stargate. It just needs the symbols on it. Billed by portals.org, the group behind the project as a bridge to a united planet. Didn't they learn from He Will Not Divide Us? He will not divide us. Did they not learn from that? Each structure enables passers-by in either city to see, but not hear, what's happening on the other side 24 hours a day on a massive 8-foot by 8-foot video screen. But that earnest utopian vision proved no match for the pub-lined Dublin thoroughfare, whose Guinness-glugging patrons were quickly drawn to the futuristic-looking exhibit like moths to flames in videos circulating online. Oh, but New York could always one-up them, right?
Absolutely.
Within hours of the Dublin portal going live, a very drunk woman in her 40s was led away by cops and arrested after grinding her backside against the screen.
What now? Say that again.
Grinding her backside against the screen.
That's what I done thought you said.
As Liza Linnane, the woman who filmed video of the incident, explained in the comments of her Instagram post. Basically, she was there for about 20 minutes, very drunk, and was slapping and grinding against the portal before guards stepped in. And the sad thing is, she wasn't the worst. The arrested woman wasn't the only Dubliner who couldn't resist using the symbol of international kinship to put their rear end on display. A video posted on X shows an inebriated-looking man waving at a crowd on the New York side in broad daylight before dropping trow and giving them a big apple-sized eyeful of a full Irish moon before stumbling away. His dim-witted pals chortled in approval. Okay, I'm sorry, but this is more uniting than pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
Honest to God, this is just showing that we're all the same. Look at my butt! Another Dubliner, missing the point of the exhibit entirely, brandished a cell phone showing that... Okay, this one is just wrong. The chilling image of United Airlines Flight 175 careening toward the South Tower of the World Trade Center on 9/11 with the crowd on the New York side groaning in response. Now, I do not understand what that was about. That was... I mean, if she was in, like, Iraq or Afghanistan, that would make sense, but... Dublin, I'd be interested in if she is even Irish. I'm going to look at the video. There he is, dropping trow. Off he goes. Woo! I love this city! New York City, off you go. But they're not showing the lady with the twin towers. Okay, dang. Was hoping they would, but they're not. Okay, because I would be interested in knowing if she actually was a Dubliner. One imbecile repeatedly flashed a swastika on his phone, ruining a sweet photo op for Matt Shaver, 30, who was visiting New York from Los Angeles and came to the portal to see his sister, who lives in Dublin. Aww. See, that's what the portal was for. But of course, some idiot had to swash a flastica. Yes.
Yes. Swashes of plastic.
That sucked, especially since that was right when my sister came on screen and I was trying to get a picture of her. It was like, great, this guy is ruining everybody's moment right now. That's terrible. Yeah, well, Nazis have a tendency to do that. Adam Noonan, a cruise ship audio engineer originally from Dublin and in New York while the ship is docked here, said that doesn't represent Ireland very well when you do that. You think? Look at this witch showing the Twin Towers. What a witch.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit sensitive about that, even though it happened 23 years ago.
Doesn't matter. That was well, I remember it. I remember everything about it. That was everyone's thoughts back home. There's a lot of people. I can't believe it was that long ago.
Yeah, 2001.
How are we that old? That was everyone's thoughts back home. There was a lot of people who didn't want the portal to be built for that reason. So, that just makes me sad. I don't want to lose faith in humanity like that. That Americans might look at Irish people in the portal doing weird stuff, he said, but in these types of things, there's always going to be that minority of people who ruin it for everyone, well, it's on both sides, honey. It's people are people. And there's going to be rat bastards on both sides. So, honey, if there's one thing that can unite us, it's that no matter where you are, be it Dublin or New York, there's going to be an idiot ruining things for people. So welcome aboard.
Welcome
we just
aboard.
put ours in office. People checking out the portal in Manhattan on Saturday afternoon took the rude behavior mostly in stride, although some exchanged mock lewd gestures and middle fingers with the crowds on the Emerald Isle side. Catherine Duran, 58, a paraprofessional from Queens, said she was actually surprised there hasn't been more vulgar behavior. I mean, I really like there were dance teams sharing their moves and everything. That's pretty cool.
Sure.
Irish people just want to stir things up. They like to create controversy. Hey! Who? No, we don't.
Never mind.
It's not that it's serious. It's for fun. Just somebody wanting a reaction. Meh. And there's people holding up "We love Dublin," "Hello from New York." I mean, that's the way it was supposed to be. She pointed out Dublin Portal's proximity to Talbot Street, which she said is home to a lot of antisocial behavior. That's just the planet right now, honey. There's a lot of drugs, a lot of homelessness, all the bars, the clubs. When they're coming out, it's like, what do you got going now? We're going to the portal. They just want to get a rise. They just want a reaction. Welcome to the planet. Untoward antics aside, most portal visitors in Manhattan enjoyed themselves. Some passersby have been cheekily using it to flirt with counterparts across the Atlantic. See, that's what it's used for. Others have been taking advantage of the unusual opportunity to connect with faraway loved ones in a way that feels a little more real than a text or FaceTime, as you know the earlier gentleman described. Victory, not Victory, there's no T, was at the portal to see her parents who have lived in Dublin for 6 years for her father's job. I actually have a friend in Dublin that if I were there, I'd try to see her. It's so funny to be able to see them. It's very emotional. It's so nice, she said. I think we're so used to texting and calling and FaceTime that this feels a little more real and exciting to see them in their element and up close. And, of course, there's people flipping them off. I'm not going to go on. It's just, humans are humans, and we're idiots.
Right.
And, I mean, they're showing, dance teams dancing with each other. That's the fun we're supposed to be having. Putting up the Twin Towers was just douchebaggery at its worst. Pressing your ass against it, that's frickin' hilarious. Humans are just humans, and we are stupid.
Speaking of
that's where I land on that one. So speaking of stupid subhumans,
President Biden again claimed Tuesday that the annual U.S. inflation rate was 9% when he took office in January 2021.
Sure, it
when
was
it
lying,
actually was 1.4% and didn't pass 9% until 17 months into his term.
Still Trump's fault. Tweets.
As he attempted to deflect public disenchantment with the economy. The 81-year-old resident made the incorrect assertion when asked during a brief interview with Yahoo Finance why families don't feel very wealthy right now. I think inflation has gone slightly up. It was at 9% when I came in, and now it's down to about 3%. Biden claimed.
Understand numbers.
Biden claimed illogically. This is the New York Post. But the fact is, I think people are just uncertain. And that's why we got to be steady, stay the course, and continue to produce these incredible jobs.
What?
Job singular.
Okay, one job.
Biden added, and by the way, the pay for jobs are outpacing the inflation rate that they're paying.
No, they're not.
On what planet, pal?
I haven't gotten a raise in 6 years.
We're going to be able to deal with this. It's going to take a little more time, but we're just focused on it. Contrary to the president's claim, median weekly wages have not kept up with the worst inflation in a generation, according to the latest quarterly data published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The White House did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comment on the discrepancy because they're 47th in line behind every other news source. Biden last Wednesday also claimed inflation was 9% when he came to office during an interview with CNN host Aaron Burnett, even though the annual inflation rate didn't exceed that threshold.
Well, he also said Bo died in Iraq and that his wife was run into by a drunk driver when she ran a stop sign and ran into him. But, whatevs. Yeah. Oh, and Hunter is the smartest man he knows.
Well, that's not saying much. Even though the annual inflation rate didn't exceed that threshold until June 2022, an increase not seen since the early 1980s.
Well, hey, at least Obama was well-spoken and clean, unlike
True.
all the other blacks.
Fresh inflation figures for April will be released Wednesday morning after the annual rate of price increases remained at a stubbornly high 3.5% from March. Biden has consistently sought to shift blame for inflation over the past several months. Do I take any blame for inflation? No, Biden said in February 2023, because it was already there when I got here, man.
No, it wasn't, man.
The White House has sought to blame factors such as COVID-19 induced supply chain disruptions and Russia's February 2022 invasion of Ukraine, while Biden critics point to large spending bills passed in the first months of his term. I don't really need to say anymore.
Who shut down the economy? And who allowed Putin to invade Ukraine? It's all on you, Biden. It's all on you, buddy. Okay, well, this one's less political. Just weird, I guess.
Okay.
They call him a Plano man, but he looks like a little kid. A Plano
Sing us the
man.
song of the Plano Man.
Yeah, well, he's only 19, but he still looks like a little kid. I'm sure he technically is a man, but he's still a kid. Anyway, he repeatedly hit a tow truck driver over the head with a metal bar.
Ow.
It happened Friday around 2:30 at the Legacy Village Apartments on Hansel Road. Police say Michael Guevara, 19, and his mom came out to the parking garage to find a tow truck driver hooking up his mom's car. The driver had papers to tow, so she probably didn't pay her payments. Good luck getting our car. You gotta get down the driveway first. Police say Guevara had grabbed a metal bar. Where did he get a metal bar? And hit the tow truck driver.
Find one here in our parking lot.
Probably. You're more likely to find a golf ball, though.
You can kill somebody with a golf ball just as easy.
Yeah, if you have a metal bar, yeah. Hit him 3 times over the head. That could literally kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Or it can damage them.
The tow truck driver then pulled out a gun and fired a round to get Guevara to stop hitting him. The bullet was lodged in a tire, but no one was hurt.
That's too bad.
Ow. Police arrested Guevara, thank God, and charged him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The tow truck driver was not cited. I think the tow truck driver was well within his...
I think so.
I'm sure there's some anti-gun people out there having a fit, but I'm pretty sure the tow truck driver was well within his means.
You've finished gagging yourself damn near to death with the Cinnamon Challenge. You've recovered from the body shock of the Ice Bucket Challenge, and you finally returned from the hospital after doing the Tide Pod Challenge. What is the next level of challenge for you overly suggestible millennials out there? At CCW Labs, we have worked day and night calculating the next challenge level, and we believe you're about to meet your match, introducing the Grow the Hell Up Challenge.
Dad, what do you mean I need to find a job?
Well, sweetheart, you're 22 years old, you're not in college, and you still live with us, so I...
Oh my God, I can't do this!
Man, I'm gonna have to write you up.
Why, boss?
Your attendance is awful. You need to show up for work on time and stop taking days off when you're not sick.
Oh my God, I can't do this. Welcome to American Bake. How can I help you?
I have a balance of negative $300. How did that happen?
It looks like you bounced several checks. I suggest balancing your checkbook, or at least looking at your balance before making purchases.
Oh my God, I can't do this!
Here are things you, a grown-ass adult, can do that does not require government handouts, pity parties, or forcing the rest of us to overpay for your damn insurance. Use your damn turn signals. Take responsibility for your own damn actions. Spay and neuter your damn pets. Spay and neuter your damn selves. Write a damn book. Plant a damn garden. Learn a damn trade. Realize that the damn earth revolves around the sun, not around you. Please submit your Grow the Hell Up Challenge videos to us at CounterCultureWise.com. We're waiting.
We didn't live anywhere near American Bank. Yeah, we do.
I know. Okay, so that one is an oldie but a goodie. That was probably our very first animation, and holy moly,
One of the
did
first.
it
I think
suck.
our first was the Cold News Network, but it was
True.
It was close.
What's funny is that one has gotten the most views of any of our animations, but yeah, that one sucked too.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I don't think it sucks. I thought the limited animation was charming, actually.
well, I appreciate that. I also used shapes and just didn't even attempt to draw because it sucked. So yeah, grow the hell up challenge. Well, why did we bring that up? Well, apparently there is a new challenge afoot, and this one is called the One Chip Challenge.
So eating a chip. What could be so bad about eating a chip?
A very interesting question. Well, let's first go to the Packy Chips Twitter account where they say, and I quote, well, the Packy One Chip Challenge is intended for adults only. We have seen an increase in teen usage of the product. Yeah, because Twitter, and, no, not even Twitter, TikTok, because the Chinese people want to kill, not the Chinese people, not the people, the government wants to kill us. We care about all of our consumers and have made the decision to remove the product from the shelves.
Smart.
The product's label clearly states that it's not for children or anyone sensitive to spicy foods or who has food allergies, is pregnant, or has underlying health conditions. We are actively working with our retailers and are offering refunds for any purchases of our single-serve One Chip Challenge product. I want this so bad. I want to try this so bad, but now I can't. All right,
I'd
so
rather
why?
you didn't.
Why are they pulling it? Well, apparently, the One Chip Challenge contributed to the death of a Massachusetts teen. And oh my
how
God,
awful.
how sad is that? That is so sad. A Massachusetts teenager died in September 2023 after participating in a social media trend called the One Chip Challenge. It involves consuming a single tortilla chip made with some of the hottest ingredients a company from Texas, of course it was Texas, called Packy can get its hands on. At the time, there was no official cause of death released, but now we know that eating that large quantity of chili pepper extract contributed, I'm so sorry, to a 14-year-old Harris Wollabun's death. Autopsy results obtained by the Associated Press also showed he had congenital heart defect. So he never should have done this. According to the medical examiner's report, Wollaba died of cardiopulmonary arrest, quote, in the setting of recent ingestion of food substance with high caspin concentration, end quote. Capsaicin is a chili pepper extract which gives it spice.
Yeah, stay away from extreme amounts of capsaicin. It's not good for you.
It's one of my 5 major food groups up
I
there
know.
with bacon and wine. The AP reached out to Packy for comment, but at the time of writing had not heard back. But as you saw, they did make a public announcement. It's important to note, though, that the website for the brand no longer appears to be online. And while still active, the handle on X has not posted anything since September 7th. Well, we just saw that they did indeed post something multiple times. And on September 7th, as you can see right here, September 7th, they did indeed post multiple times. Multiple times they posted on September 7th. So they did indeed post. So this is not true. But there are products still for sale, including its ghost pepper chips. Social media challenges can be harmless, but as this case shows, they can also be dangerous. Here's what parents need to know. I'm going to leave that. Parents, parent your children. I'm not telling you how to be a parent. I'm just telling you to be a parent. This little boy would still be alive if you had been paying attention. I mean, the thing literally comes in a coffin-shaped box.
Yeah, it does.
Literally. Like I said, I'm not telling you how. I'm just telling you to. All right. And like I said, they did indeed, on multiple occasions, on that date, issue warnings. And they pulled those chips. And I mean, what more could you ask for?
Here we go. This story is from my old stomping grounds of Tigard, Oregon. I used to work in Tigard, Oregon for a vile company that I will not mention their... I won't say what they are, but their initials were...
Vile company?
Vile company. I won't say who they were, but their initials were HSBC.
Okay.
A Portland man...
Wait. Okay, I think I might know who it was. All right. This one, I think the headline literally says
everything you need to know.
Everything we need to know.
So let's just go ahead and say what it is. Black Portlander files $475,000 lawsuit against Walmart for accusing him of stealing vacuum he bought.
Okay, now, first pass on the headline, you're like, what the heck? Dude bought it. Leave him alone. Okay, yeah, get him.
Right.
Second pass is, why was it important that we put the word black first?
Well, that way you could actually capitalize the B, and that way you can do it throughout the entire article, which we will demonstrate shortly. A Portland man who says he was berated by Walmart store security in Tigard and falsely labeled a vacuum thief filleted filed a $475,000 lawsuit after the chain admitted a few months later that he actually did buy the vacuum.
Okay, but why 474? Where does that dollar amount come from?
I think he had family and friends influencing him to ask for a ridiculous amount of money in hopes that they could all cash in. I don't know. Plaintiff Ryan Reddit, who is 46 and black, apparently that's important.
Yeah.
And they capitalized
black,
B throughout
but capital B black.
B black throughout the entire thing. Filed the lawsuit last week alleging store employees and security staff followed him to his car and snapped photos and appeared to be taking video of him and his license plate.
Okay, not cool.
Not cool.
So you turn around and you say, dude, here's my receipt. I bought it. Back off.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It ends right there and they say, oh, I'm so sorry.
And so...
And maybe the manager comes out and says, dude, here's a $50 gift card. We are like, I am so sorry. We were being jerks.
Yeah.
The end. I mean, okay.
That didn't happen. The suit states that they yelled, "You should get a job, Donna, Shana, you won't have to steal." And I'm so tired of you.
Video.
They also threatened that his image would be posted on social media for all to see, and law enforcement would soon track him down, the suit says.
And the whole time he's holding up his receipt and they're ignoring it?
I don't see anything about that in here. It was incredibly insulting, said Reddit, adding that he owns a food cart and would never steal, let alone from another business. I worked very, very hard. It was humiliating to be put in that position.
That would be humiliating.
So he pulled out his receipt.
So he
No,
pulled
he didn't.
out his receipt.
No, he
said,
didn't.
Back up. Oh.
No, he didn't.
No?
Walmart officials declined to comment, writing in an email that the company is reviewing the complaint and will respond appropriately in court. Reddit's lawsuit comes as stores around the Portland metro area have endured a years-long wave of elevated numbers of shoplifting cases and have been under intense pressure to crack down on retail theft. Last year, months before Reddit's encounter, Walmart closed its only 2 Portland stores as part of a national list of about 24 closures, saying only that the stores didn't meet financial expectations. You know, I'm going to have to get in touch with my girlfriend at the time and check, but I don't think I ever set foot in Portland the full 2 years or so, like 2000 to 2000, like 2005 to 2008. I don't think I ever set foot in a Walmart in that area, and I know they had them. I just don't remember ever doing it. We went to Fred Meyer a lot.
Were they as big then?
They had expanded because the first time I went to Walmart was in the 80s and it was just in the South. It was in Alabama.
Yeah, see, I don't
And
think
it didn't really exist until the in Washington or the
Yeah, I don't think
Northwest
I
up until the
experienced a
like
Walmart.
1990s.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have Walmarts,
Yeah.
and we had Fred Meyer's, and
Which is still up there.
and I miss Trader Joe's, and we had Target, but I don't even recall going to a Walmart in Washington.
I went to the one next to the Auburn Super Mall several times, and then they eventually opened
Yes.
one up in Federal Way, and
Okay,
I
so
went
that
there.
was in the aughts. That was
Yeah.
in 2000 something. Yeah, so I probably was, almost 30 before I went to a Walmart. Yeah, I remember that one, the big one. There was a Mexican restaurant across from it.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Nice big one. They have some really nice ones here in Waco, but I don't want to get too far away from the story.
Well, in Vegas, you can't throw a rock without hitting a Walmart.
No,
they're
was
like
our
Starbucks.
that was our go-to because it was the closest grocery
yeah.
store to us that was a full
Although
size
we had,
grocery store. We had Vaughn's, but it was much smaller.
and not cash and carry.
We
Shop
also had
and
the
go and Penny
Smart and
and-
Final
that
Iris.
one, Smart and Final.
Smart
yeah.
and Final,
And then we had the co-op one that was owned by the employees.
Right.
But it was
Winco,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, Winco, but it was way out there.
We'd go there when we wanted to go extreme bargain hunting and we were in the neighborhood. Anyways, they said that only that the stores didn't meet financial expectations.
Well, yeah, if they're getting robbed every day,
Yeah.
of course they don't.
And I can kind of see. Well, let's keep going. According to the lawsuit, on July 11th, 2023, Reddit drove to the Tigard Walmart at 7600 Southwest Dartmouth Street, asked a sales associate about vacuum cleaners, selected one, bought it at a self-checkout station, and then began diddy-bopping out the store's front doors.
Okay, so what happens when you go through the self-check and you have a big ticket item that is not in a bag? The person at the door says, "Oh, hey, show me your receipt." You show it to them, and they mark it with a yellow marker, and you go on your way. I've done that hundreds of times.
And you would think he would have done it, but he didn't.
Yeah, and all they do is say receipt. You're like, "Oh yeah, here
Which-
you go."
which-
just like they do at Costco, just like they do at Sam's Club,
And
just like they do at Target.
If you walk out with a big ticket item, now
Yeah,
if
you
you
just
go out
say-
with a couple of bananas, they may
they're
or may
just,
not stop
nah,
you.
you got you got an avocado and a loaf
avocado
of bread.
and some
They're
Right
like,
Guard,
they
you know,
don't care.
nobody's
right.
gonna do. But yeah,
Tampons and a bottle of wine. They're like, "I ain't talking to you. You're fine. Here, have some chocolate."
you're fine.
Yeah.
It was then Reddit said that an employee.
Midol rope and a can of bug spray. They're like, "No, I'll be over here."
Yeah, I'll be over here
Yeah.
just checking on these guys. It was then Reddit said that an employee stated receipt.
Right. So he goes, "Oh, here's my
the receipt.
The end.
No, he didn't. But Reddit said he didn't have time to process if that employee was asking to see his receipt. He'd never been asked for one at Walmart before.
Hold on, hold
I'm
on.
calling BS on that.
Hold on. Does this guy talk like this? I didn't have time to process what the word receipt meant.
I don't get it because
Wait,
I
he's in
have
Portland.
almost
Hold on,
never.
hold on. That was very, very, very southern racist. He's in Portland, so he sounds more like they totally asked for my receipt, and I didn't know what that meant.
I don't
And
understand
because I'm capital B black. I should be given an extra few kind of minutes to process that, because when you're capital B black, you need that.
The vocal fry was excellent on that one.
Well, men are starting to do it now. It's so annoying. It's bad enough that women are doing
I
it.
find myself when I'm on the phone with customers when I'm doing that kind of work, I actually am starting to talk like this sometimes, and it's I
Hello?
have to catch myself.
Thank you for calling.
But anyway,
Are you sure you wanted to call?
I'm just going to call BS on the never been asked for one at Walmart before because
my
frankly,
fuzzy white hiney,
well, I
lowercase
wouldn't have
w
said
white
yeah,
hiney.
okay, that's better. That's better. Make sure
Sorry.
make sure
Make sure it's lowercase.
Lowercase. So every time I'm at Walmart. Now they don't stop every single person.
No,
like
no,
I
if
said,
if you have a cart full of
an avocado and
groceries,
a can of beans. They're not
and
going to
even if
really
you
worry
have a
about
cart
it.
full of groceries that are in bags,
Yeah.
they assume you went through whatever checkout or whatever. Now I could toss a bunch of crap in there after the fact, but
Sure,
usually there's somebody
sure.
attending the thing, and you're on video the whole time you do it, and
Right.
you're on video when you walk in, and you're on video when the dude
You
says
are under
receipt.
constant surveillance from the time
so,
you
I mean,
land in
this
the parking
is
lot.
easy to settle. You just look at the video. Oh, he walked. I mean, I remember when I got $20 over and didn't get it out of the machine, and I just said, look, we're really in a bad place, and I asked for 20 over and I didn't get it out of the machine, and they actually watched the surveillance video and said, yeah, the woman behind you just walked right by and grabbed it, and there's nothing we can do.
Right, but at least they tried.
But they were able to watch that.
Right,
Okay, so
right.
dude's on video. I mean, if the receipt, if he ate the receipt, or it blew away in the wind the minute he opened the door, or he wasn't smart enough to figure out, oh, hey, my vacuum cleaner might break down and I might have to bring it back or exchange it at some
you'd
point.
think. I mean, once again, we use the bananas and avocado thing. I'm not going to return bananas and an avocado unless they're like they look great and then they're absolutely rotting
You get
inside.
home and there's like worms and razor blades in them. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, normally.
But if I'm going to buy a lamp, a vacuum cleaner, a toaster,
anything over $20, I'm
a
gonna
back massager,
Yeah.
a nose picker, whatever. I get home and I stick my battery in it and it doesn't do nothing. I bring it back.
And we've had to do that. Everybody's had
Many
to do
times.
that. Yeah. And you need a receipt for that.
It
So
took me 3 tries to get headphones that worked.
he might be capital B black, but he's not very capital B bright. Let's continue. Because almost simultaneously, another employee nearby exclaimed, "You're going to jail. The police will be called." I don't know why I did.
I would like to see the video of this happen.
I sure would.
I
Adding to
very
the
much like to
commotion,
see it.
Reddit said a uniformed security guard also yelled, "Why you got to steal?" Reddit said because he'd paid for the vacuum, he at first thought store staff must be accusing someone else of shoplifting.
Now that I get, I mean, because if you're
Okay.
like totally innocent, you're looking around
Yeah.
going, "What I do?" And you'd think, okay, well they must be yelling at somebody else because here
Right.
I am, derp-de-dur. I just rang myself up, paid my money, and here's my receipt. No, I got my receipt, so they're not talking to me because here's my receipt. So obviously, if anything happened, I have my receipt on hand. So
You
all I
would,
have to
except
do is
he.
show
I
them
don't
the
think he
receipt.
did. I don't think he did. Because it never mentions anywhere in this article, like I said before, that he even showed anybody his receipt. According to the lawsuit, that's when the third person stated to one of the other two, "Don't worry, I got all this on film," and told Reddit, "We will find you and call the police. We'll put this on social media so everyone knows who you are."
Okay, that's rude.
That's rude.
But at this point, I would have said, "Oh gosh, I lost my receipt. So let me pull out my smartphone and bring up my bank account, and you can see right here where I paid for it."
At the very least, yeah. But
You
he
know,
didn't do that either.
I mean, you're being a rude jerk, and I shouldn't have to do this, but let's just settle this right here, right now.
Essentially, he did everything but show them a receipt. He said, I just kept walking because I was being humiliated,
well,
and the
he
police might pull me over,
basically-
and all of the
He
stereotypes."
basically did the thing that every cop knows. If you say, "Hey, stop," and they run, they're guilty. So he basically did everything a guilty person would do short of pulling out a gun and firing.
I know.
I mean, he literally did everything a guilty person would do. And my question is,
his view
did
is
he do it on purpose? That's my question. If
it
you
almost
know,
sounds like he did.
if you know that if you're capital B black, you can get a lawsuit and get tons of dough, and all you have to do is pretend like somebody was being rude to you, but you literally do everything a thief would do on purpose, and then I actually did buy it, now I can get money. That sounds to me like he planned this.
I'm going to be curious as to see how this turns out in court, to be honest. I guess we'll keep an eye on it.
Well, he's capital B black, so he'll probably get the money.
Well,
I wonder
we'll
if
see.
anybody else has done anything really, really similar and won a lot of money. Let's
Yeah.
keep reading, shall we?
Okay.
I've done absolutely nothing wrong. According to the lawsuit, asset protection investigator for the store called 911 and told police he knew Reddit stole the vacuum because he, quote, went through no points of sale. I saw him walking from the grocery action alley.
Yeah, that's the.
Why am I picturing people sword fighting with loaves of bread?
I think they're
That's where all
talking.
the grocery.
I think they're talking about that bigger aisle between the grocery section and like the clothing
like
or
where the clothes
electronics.
and
Yeah, and they have the
which I call
the
where
s-
the egg rolls are.
yeah. I think
That's where you get the egg rolls.
or in my case, where you get the Nathan's hot dogs.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
anyway,
Okay,
yeah.
I saw with grocery action. That's where all the action takes place, and he walks straight through, ignoring any point of sale. Well, there's like in the Walmart we go to, if it's a bigger one, there's the little one where you have to weed through the maze, and then there's the big one where there's like a couple, and then there's another one on the other side. So
Right.
he would have had to have watched him the entire time, just derping, and on his way out. And okay, if he went through a self checkout. Well, usually it feeds you out on the other side, but he could have gone through the self-checkout clear on the other side of the store, and then for some reason derped down the action aisle. Instead
By the
of
way, for those of you unfamiliar, derp is a verb that means to derp.
it means you just walk along totally unaware of your surroundings. Derp. Yeah. It just means that you're unaware of your surroundings. Jim derped
I derp a lot through life. That's been a thing of mine.
Okay,
so
he
anyway,
didn't stop anywhere to pay. He said he spent. I can't even read this with a straight face. He spent the ensuing months worrying police would pull him over at any moment
and drag him from his
drag him
car,
from his
boy.
car.
He also
For
worried
only
if the
3
person who took
pennies
photos
a day, you can save a capital B black
in
person
the
from being
arms
afraid.
of the angels. He also worried if the person who took photos and recorded him was a vigilante and not a store employee who would ask others on social media to help find him. There he is, get him.
Do you know this evil capital B black man who steals vacuum cleaners? He might be vacuuming a floor right now. I was driving around with a scarlet letter on myself, so I called corporate and said, hey, can I talk to the manager because I have my receipt?
Didn't happen. I don't think, I think he walked out without a receipt and rather than resolve it in person. See, that's why this is such a ridiculous story.
He dragged it out because he wanted money.
I hate to think that, but I think that.
I didn't think that until I read the entire article, especially when you get down to how it's written, how he's so special.
Yeah.
I even highlighted, because he's capital B black, in a store full of lowercase w white shoppers. I mean, that is next level racism
I
and bad
lived
grammar.
in Portland, and the demographics have not shifted that much. There's always lots of black people at grocery stores,
Right. And
along
Walmart
with the white people.
specifically. Walmart's
are designed for lower middle class people,
Right.
And that's not a slam on anybody.
No, they're just one step above the dollar store. That's also closing because of theft. Imagine having to steal from it. Well, you don't have to, but imagine stealing from a dollar store.
Yeah, just crazy. Anyway, to skip ahead just a little teensy bit, Walmart has been sued several times in recent years by other Portland area residents alleging they were discriminated against for shopping while black.
Capital B black.
Last year, another capital B man filed suit against the chain, claiming employees at his now shuttered Southeast Portland store forcibly grabbed a vacuum from him that he just bought in 2022.
Wait. Also was a vacuum cleaner?
Something about
Can you say
capital B's
copycat?
Okay, something about capital B's getting capital V's at capital W. It just is what it is.
So he didn't even have the creativity to try to get away with a different item. He could have gotten a television. He could have gotten a rotor-rooter, a weed whacker. I mean, he could have pretty much bought any big ticket item in that store, pocketed the receipt, ran out like he was guilty, and when they accuse him of stealing, say, I'm capital B black. I don't need to show receipts or nothing. You just have to assume, and then sue him up one side and down the other, make lots and lots of money. He didn't even have the creativity to steal, I'm sorry, he didn't steal it. He did not steal it. He didn't even have the creativity to pretend to steal a different item. So now we have learned something. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this and you are capital B black and so inclined, all you have to do is purchase a large ticket item, but pretend that you stole it. And you too can be a millionaire.
I think, but on the other hand, there was a gross overreaction by Walmart staff. I mean,
If all
they
of
deserve,
that- yeah.
they do deserve some disciplinary
if all of
action.
that did go down,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Because this has literally happened to my lowercase white self, where I'm walking out of the store and somebody stops me and says, hey, do you have a receipt for that? And I've patted down my pockets and said, I don't think I grabbed it from the machine. And they're like, oh, no problem. Let's go back to the machine. And the receipt was there, and they're like, carry on.
It happens to everybody at least once.
Nobody videoed me or whatever. And I don't think it's because I have lowercase w privilege, because the guy who was doing it was capital B black. I think it's because they should assume best intentions, and in this case, they did not. I don't think it had anything to do with his race. I think it had 100% everything to do with his attitude.
I think you're quite correct on that.
Yeah.
I can't argue. With me, our disagreement over this is mostly about the degree. I think that's way too much to ask, but that's nothing compared to this next one. Also in 2022, a Multnomah County jury awarded a black man $4.4 million after his lawsuit claimed he was falsely accused of threatening to slap a theft prevention employee who told him to leave the store.
Now, this one I did investigate a little bit, and while the guy is on video being extremely aggressive and obnoxious, the guy accusing him apparently has a history of dialing 911 and exaggerating, and the cops were actually aware of this dude. I don't think he was $4.4 million worth of rude, but this guy does have a history of doing that. So I want to know where the $4.4 million came from. Did he lose his job? No. Was he physically assaulted? No.
Well, it's punitive. I mean, it's so that they get the message not to do it again.
Okay, but here's the thing. I can be evicted for asking for a flushing toilet, and their floors are so bad I end up with a broken spine, and they just completely get away with it, nothing at all. I actually had pain. I actually had issues with working. And then, of course, we ended up not having a home. And those people get away scot-free. Is it because I'm lowercase w? If I had been capital B black, I bet you I would have gotten a lawyer.
No, it's because
no lawyer would take the case. No lawyer would take the case.
Because these vile landlords are well-known and, quote, unquote, respected in the community.
But if I had been capital B black, I would have had lawyers paying me to take the case.
Yeah, that's true.
You and I both know that.
I know that.
So don't come to me with your stupid privilege.
Well, that's yeah.
We talked about Jerry Seinfeld last week apologizing to
Howard Stern,
right, which I thought was odd. And now I'm just kind of like, okay, Jerry, blink twice. if you need help, because it's like he's on an apology tour, and this.
What's the deal with?
What's the deal with Jerry Seinfeld? You know, and I'm unclear. This one's silly. It's just silly. I feel like I need to there. It's not fitting, so I was trying to get it to fit. Okay. Why is he apologizing? Okay, so he said, I made a cartoon movie about bees you may have watched as a child. If any of you felt slightly uncomfortable about the sexual undertones, if you were a child, you don't know what sexual undertones are. In the relationship between Barry the V and Vanessa, the florist who saves his life, I would like to apologize for that now. Okay, now I've got to go watch the stupid movie because I don't know. I've seen it.
I don't
and
remember
I don't know what he's
anything specifically sexually undertone-ish about it.
He said, I may not have calibrated that perfectly, but I would not change it. The comedian referred to the 2007 animated film to make a bigger point about not losing your sense of humor as life gets tough. But what does that have to do with anything? The slightly uncomfortable feeling of awkward humor is okay, he said. It's not something you need to fix. Right. Although Seinfeld admires the current generation for their ambitions to create a more just and inclusive society and for not wanting to hurt other people's feelings, he advised the graduating class not to lose their sense of humor, which is hard to do when you're constantly being policed by, the butthurt woke. Not a lot of life makes sense for you to be able to survive it without humor, he added. In 2021, Seinfeld addressed the sexual undertones the DreamWorks animation film had during an appearance in The Tonight Show. I apologize for what seems to be a certain uncomfortable, subtle sexual aspect. I've got to watch this movie now. It really was not intentional, but after it came out, I realized, okay, but you can make anything sexual. I mean, there was an episode of Friends where they're like, Joey, you can make anything sound sexual. And he's like, yes, I can. And I think it was Phoebe who said, oh, come on, like, look, Grandma's chocolate chip cookies. And he's like, Grandma's
Chocolate chip cookies.
Like, that's funny.
Yeah.
And it's not harming anybody. Because the bees seem to have a thing for the girl, and we really don't want to pursue that as an idea in children's entertainment. Oh, but we're supposed to be, Jimmy has two mommies, and find the.
I do.
Did you see that book? You probably didn't. Oh my God! So there is a children's coloring book. A children's coloring book.
Yes.
That is supposedly, everybody loves the Rainbow Mafia, and oh boy. One of them is a maze. Those mazes where you have all the different lines, and
Right.
it goes to which one is connected to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 people, one of which is a woman, and one's an old guy. One's looks like a little kid wearing a bow in their hair, and it's their penises. I am not making
They're
this
what
up.
now?
Their penises are all really long and tangled up, and there is a child in doggy position, and it is a small child. And you're supposed to figure out which penis is entering his anus.
That I don't
And that
believe
is in
that
a
for a minute.
children's coloring book.
Where is-
And on Twitter right this minute, go to our Twitter account because I've said a few things about this. On Twitter right now, there is a guy arguing with me that I am, an istophobe because nobody, what are you saying? That nobody should hear something about how gays are fine? Not this way, honey. I should go find it.
Yeah, I think you ought to.
This is real. This is real.
Okay,
And
I hate that it's real.
I absolutely... Well, first of all, even if it's for adults, why? Why would that be a thing? Seriously, why would that be a thing? I mean, go see... I get lots of notifications about how evil and nasty and terrible I am. I'm going to leave that up so you guys aren't looking at it while I'm looking for it. But
Okie dokie.
yeah, even if you're an adult, why? Let's see.
How long ago was this that you posted this?
A couple days ago.
Okay.
And here it is. This, of course, is Libs of TikTok, which, of course, is, racist, whatever. Okay, so this is, it's a Spanish one.
Okay.
Okay. But here it is. One of them's a woman with obvious breasts because they're all naked. One of them's a young boy. One of them's an old man that's bald with glasses. Kind of looks like you. One of them's a younger man, and looks like it's a little child with a page boy haircut. And it looks like an infant at the bottom. And it actually has the word poppy, or unless it's pop with an exclamation mark. This child is in doggy position, and it's a little Cupid doll curl, so they're meaning to make it look like a baby.
Criminy
And
crackers.
you're supposed to follow the tangled up penises to find out which one is penetrating him.
Crazy.
This is real. And like I said, even if this was only for adults, first of all, it's an infant, and there's more than one child involved, and one of them's a woman with boobs who also has a scrotum and a tangled up penis. Even if this is only for adults, why? Why? Okay? So the comment I get from this guy,
Yeah.
gotta find it because yeah, why to read a book that's tell us that homosexuality isn't bad? Also, have you read the book? No. Every one of you are judging a book that you didn't read and didn't understand.
You don't need to read it.
It's not a baby. He has a mustache. You all just saw the picture. There is no mustache. It's a book against those who hate LGBT people. And I wrote, your reply basically illustrates that you don't read. I'm not seeing a mustache, okay? There's no mustache to be had. That child has a Cupid doll curl. And now it's not showing the full screen. Okay, let me show the full screen, shall we? Let's just show the full screen, shall we? Yeah, Jim's coming over here to look at this because he can't believe this is real. That is a child. That is a baby. That is an infant.
That is
okay?
a baby.
That is a young boy with a page boy haircut. That is a woman with boobs. And that is scary old man, and they're all just so dang proud of themselves. But like I said, this is a children's coloring book in schools. Even if this were for adults with bizarre fetishes, still, why? Gross. And this guy's like, oh, well, God forbid that we should, say gay people are okay. That is not what this book is doing. That is not what this book is doing.
It's not gay. It's pedophilia.
It's not just gay and pedophilia. It's gross. Even if you're into that, it's still gross. So anyway, this is why we can't have nice things.
For show.
Speaking of going a little bit overboard,
yeah,
I can't believe.
I can totally believe this.
And yet I can believe.
Absolutely believe it.
I can believe this.
This is what happens when you're so TDS that you have gone just.
Yeah, when you're TDS
beyond.
The guy's been. Just go back to being Scooby, okay? I'll let you read this one because
Mark Hamill says the force is with President Biden. Da, 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 da. The actor made a surprise visit Friday to the White House briefing room and offered a Star Wars-inspired nickname for the commander-in-chief.
The force is with him, but not the life force.
Life force. How many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo cards? Hamill, sporting a pair of sunglasses.
I don't like these bingo games.
Told reporters at the top of the White House's press briefing. I just got to meet the president and he gave me these aviator glasses, added Hamill, known for his role as Luke Skywalker. Asked about his Oval Office visit with Biden, Hamill said, I called him Mr. President. He said, you can call me Joe. Then Hamill quipped, I said, can I call you Joe B-Wan Kenobi?
I bet you Biden had absolutely no idea. In fact, if the microphones were off, he probably said, well, how about Joe B-Wan Brandon?
I don't know.
He has
Offering
no
a
idea.
Biden-inspired play on the name of the famed Jedi Master character in the intergalactic franchise for the 2 or 3 of you who've never heard of it before. Touting Biden's legislative accomplishments, Hamill exclaimed, I just want to say, once again, how grateful I am. And that just shows you that one person can be so influential and so positive in our lives.
How?
It's not the first White House visit for the 72-year-old performer, a frequent critic of former President Trump. It was really amazing to me because I was invited to the Carter White House and I came. And then I came to the Obama White House, but I was never invited into the Oval Office and it was a large gathering. So this one was really extra special, Hamill said. You're hopeless. Stick to movies. Stick to being the Joker.
I'm trying to find the meme.
He voiced the Joker on Batman the Animated Series. That's what I'm saying now. And he did it. And he was great as the Joker.
I mean, because you have to be absolutely...
You have to be insane to be a good Joker.
Bat guano insane. I'm trying not to swear,
so to
but
speak.
come on. I'm trying to find the meme. It was hilarious. It shows him yelling at the emperor, I'll never turn to the dark side. And it says, how he wanted it, and then it shows him next to Biden pretty much looking like the evil emperor, and it's like, how it's going.
Yeah. Well,
I can't find it, but it's pretty funny. But he doesn't look well.
Well, he's 72. I mean, give him a break.
But he doesn't look well. He looks not well. They don't have a picture of it in this article for some reason, but he doesn't look well. I don't know. There's just something. I wish I could see him without the aviators because I bet you he's got crazy swirly eyes. Anyways, he's been. I've followed him on Twitter. Him and oh my, I used to think
George Takei.
Yeah, I used to love George Takei, and he has gone completely off the deep end.
Well, I stopped following Carl Reiner for the same reason.
Yeah.
Well,
Carl Reiner is a paid shill. Nobody says the stuff that he says and actually means it. He's getting paid to say stupid crap.
Well, he's not getting
like
paid.
that.
Carl's dead. His son Rob is who you're probably
Carl,
talking about.
whoever, whatever. You know what I mean. I get them confused.
Yes, you do.
Stupid is as stupid does. All right. Let's take a moment to head into news of the Wonderfuller. Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller.
This one's for all you baseball fans. In a beautiful display of sportsmanship, a recent game between the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees at Rogers Center became the backdrop for a touching moment that captured hearts across social media. This act of kindness involved a young Yankees supporter, 9-year-old Derek Rodriguez, and a generous Blue Jays fan.
Sounds like a baseball player. Derek Rodriguez? That sounds like he's already
it sounds like Alex Rodriguez, that's why. And a generous Blue Jays fan named Mike Lanzalota. It all began in the 6th inning when Yankees star Aaron Judge hit a home run. The ball landed in the stands where Lanzalota retrieved it. Instead of keeping the prized souvenir for himself, he spotted Rodriguez, a young fan in Yankees gear, and decided to make his day unforgettable. Lanzalota handed the ball.
He did not handle the child.
And not handle the child. That's another. That's
the last
another
story.
section. To the stunned boy who was overwhelmed with emotion, Rodriguez broke down in tears of joy and immediately hugged Lanzalota, a moment that quickly went viral on social media.
He gets away with a lot of those, and it's hard for hitters to square him up. We don't see that a whole lot, but Judge was on it.
It's so sweet.
Not only a Yankee fan wearing a Judge t-shirt.
Oh, he's crying. He's so cute. Aww. That was really sweet. I was so happy. All I can remember is that I said thank you and hugged him. I brought it to school. My friends and teachers congratulated me. They all wanted to hear what happened. It was just amazing.
The heartwarming interaction didn't end there, though. The next day, both Lanzalota and Rodriguez were invited back to Rogers Center to watch batting practice from the field. During this special experience, Aaron Judge himself spotted Rodriguez and met him in the dugout. Just like in the viral video, there was another heartfelt embrace and quite a few watery eyes among the spectators.
You know, as cute as this is, it shouldn't be this big of a deal that somebody was nice to a kid.
I know. This story of kindness and sportsmanship continues to unfold. The New York Yankees have extended a special invitation to both Lanzalota and Rodriguez, along with their families, to attend an upcoming game at Yankee Stadium.
So what say every single guy who ever catches a home run now offers it to a kid and hopes he's on video? There
you go. They will be seated together in the iconic Judges' Chambers, ensuring that this memorable experience will have yet another exciting chapter. In an era often dominated by rivalries and competition, moments like these remind us of the power of kindness and the unifying spirit of sports.
This shouldn't be that rare is all I'm saying.
I know. I agree.
Okay.
And now, tearjerker time.
Well, we have to end on a tearjerker.
Yeah.
This is precious. An 18-year-old who broke her wrist was still able to play her gig after her dad lent her a hand, literally. Mary Leahy broke her wrist just 2 days before her big solo at the Peterborough Music Festival. Oh, that is big. After falling off a farm cart, God bless her. But instead of pulling out, her father, Donna Leahy, one of the best fiddle players in Canada, who toured with Shania Twain. Okay.
This is a big deal.
I had no idea it was this big. Stepped in to create a very special duet. The 55-year-old oscillated the bow while... Oscillated? Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
I thought oscillated meant go in a circle.
You kind of do when you play a fiddle.
No, you don't go in a circle. I don't think oscillated's the right word. Okay, I'm willing to be wrong. I will define... Oscillate. Because an oscillating... Oh, it goes back and forth. Okay, maybe it doesn't go around. Swing, move, back and forth. Okay, I'm willing to be wrong now. Like a pendulum. Okay, oscillate. Okay.
Who the man, who the man, who the man,
You
who
the
the
man,
man.
you the man, do the man dance. All right. So he oscillated the bow while Mary played the chords with her healthy hand. I don't know how, but I managed to play with my left hand only, said Mary, a full-time musician oscillating from Peterborough, Ontario. It was really hard. I honestly don't know how I pulled it off, but I did. His left hand was playing the fingers on my back, which was tickling me. Oh, that's what he was doing. Oh, that's so cute. Well, I had to imagine myself playing the bow with my right hand. They know the instrument inside and out, so the result looked and sounded seamless. So I want to play this video because it is absolutely precious. didn't realize that's what he was doing with his fingers. I thought he was just keeping the beat, but he's actually positioning them.
Mm-hmm.
She's good.
Yeah, she is good.
I mean, she'd have to be good because he's one of the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's adorable. I think the novelty of the show makes it better. We're even thinking of making it part of the act. Like it's like a dummy. Mary's been touring with her parents for 12 years after starting fiddle lessons at age 4. And then they go on to tell you more about who she is and all of that. So what an adorable story, and we wish them well.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show. May you have an amazing week, and we will see you next Sunday.
Bye. CounterCultureWise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, CounterCultureWise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.